What's up, y'all? Kofi Kingston here, and I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks, depending on what that drink is, preferably non-alcoholic, you know?
How's it going? I'm the Celtic Warrior, Sheamus.
Soda.
I would love to have a drink with Wrestling on the Rocks.
Maple syrup.
Fella.
I'm not gonna make that a regular thing. I think I did that last one too. I'm not gonna do that all the time. I had the mic down. I had to scream. I was pouring a drink already. It's one of those nights I got to get to drinking now before we even get through the intro. Guys, oh my God. Welcome to the first episode. Welcome to Wrestling on the Rocks, where every show is our first show. Every episode is episode 1. Producer, you want to explain yourself what that was all about? Good. I am at Ref Marsh on Twitter. You can find us at WOTR the show. This is Wrestling on the Rocks. Clump, you're here.
Yo! Yeah, my name's Eric. Yeah.
Go ahead.
My name's Clump. I'm on Twitter occasionally. I actually made fun of someone this week on Twitter. It was cool.
He made fun of our nicest listener. The only one who puts us over consistently. And Clump's all like, I'm here for this. Fuck this guy. No, you didn't sit down.
I thought it was great. And it wasn't, I didn't think it was that mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah, no, it was funny. I get the impression Don Stugatz thought it was funny. I guess we'll find out if he blocked us or not. I haven't checked.
Just you.
Yeah. He's all, funny, huh? And then just all of a sudden blocked. And I'm like, what happened? Amanda, our resident guest, champion of the people, as I like to say. Welcome
I can
back.
also be the official heel, because I had heat. I had a lot of heel heat last week, so.
You are the John Cena of podcasting, the most polarizing figure.
I think so.
In all of podcasting. Because I'm a pretty definitive heel.
Yeah, I think now you're going to make me have to have like some kind of weird like motivational quote. So I don't have one for you today, but next time I'll prepare one.
Yeah, we'll get one.
So
we'll get you one that's like split down the middle. It's going to be like, give up when the time is right.
Do a backhanded compliment to some talent.
Yes.
Okay. Let me think about one, and I will do that this evening.
Yeah. Well, Dexter Loomis's bright eyes distract me from his weird mustache.
Right.
Just like that.
That's a good one. That's a good example. I'm not going to use that one.
That dude who was hitting up Cody on Twitter, who's like, you're my favorite mid-carder.
What?
There's that guy who was a while back. It was a guy a while back who said something. So Cody did an interview where he said something like, the TNT title is the most important title in the business. He goes, all of our titles should be the most important title. I don't need to go for the world title to bring notoriety and stuff to this. And was just really selling up the TNT title. And the guy responds to it and just goes, spoken like a true mid-carder. Cody Rhodes, mid-carder for life. And then Cody responded and said, you follow me, pal. And then the guy responded to him and said, yeah, because you're my favorite mid-carder.
Mid-carder.
I was like, the internet's so good sometimes. I just wish I could see Cody's face when he read that one. Because he had to be like, fuck.
Beat red. Kick this little dog, whatever the dog's name is. The little
Pharaoh.
Not Pharaoh. No. The little one.
That's not a fair fight. He needs to go after.
No. Pharaoh's a beautiful dog. No, you go after.
So we can't kick dogs because they're beautiful. We should just not kick dogs, Amanda.
He can't kick Pharaoh. He can kick that little one.
I am concerned about your dog kicking status. It seems to be based on size.
Well, no, but the little irritating one, because that's I think it's irritating because they're little, but
the one that's like a squeak toy.
Pharaoh's a good dog. Pharaoh does, Pharaoh's a good dog. Like, didn't freak out at like All In when he came out with all that pyro. I thought Pharaoh would be freaked out, but no, Pharaoh's a good little dog. But the little thing, I don't know. So,
well, we don't want
kind of extreme.
No kicking of any dogs.
Marsh describes Johnny Gargano.
Yes. He can kick Johnny Gargano. So Cody reads the tweet, and then it pans out. You see him kick, and you hear the dog squeak, and the camera goes down. It's actually Gargano on the ground.
Nice.
Just a little puppy,
Nice.
little puppy Gargano.
Johnny Wrestling.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Because the other thing you know too is when he read that tweet, you know that he thought, "Fuck, the internet's gonna love that."
That too. That too.
There's no way. There's no way the internet doesn't just eat that up.
No.
I would have loved if he made that a shirt. That would have been my favorite. I'm buying
It's
this.
shocking he didn't. He always makes a shirt about something usually.
That's a good point.
He
Your
does.
favorite mid Carter for life, Cody.
Yeah. My favorite mid Carter. Everyone's favorite.
That's a good
mid-Carter.
point. I heard that. Clump, what's in your glass?
I have Coke from Whataburger and fries from Whataburger, but I can't really.
Uh-oh. You have all these sponsorships.
If Whataburger sponsored us, I would appreciate it, but I probably wouldn't last long.
Yeah, I would die, man. Because I would just
yeah.
I'd go all in. I'd be like, look, I can't help it. If Whataburger sponsored us, that'd be it. Yeah, for me. Because I'd be like, look, I'm irresponsible if I don't eat there 3 times a day now. Because they're sponsors. I must eat there 3 times a day.
Whataburger is that kind of like fast food place where I go and they give me the order and they say something along the lines of, getting food for the family, and I awkwardly nod.
You're like, yes.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
This is for the family.
The royal we family.
Mhm.
Yes. So you
I'm
got
a
Coke and
growing
you got Whataburger fries. That's not a bad night. That's not a bad. Is that your entire dinner? I have a feeling.
No. I have Whataburger in the fridge, but because literally I parked. It was taking forever to get done, so I parked threw it in the fridge. So I got cold Whataburger in the fridge.
Why don't you just mute your mic from time to time and take a couple bites as we go, dude?
We both know I'm not that smart or capable. And no
I got a
one
feeling
needs to see me eat.
Yeah, well, that's a good point. You're like, well, the camera's still on.
Just see me getting sweaty, ketchup stains on me.
Yeah, the podcast listens just kind of like flatline, but the YouTube views skyrockets. Like, look at this dude eating. Like, you can't hear him, but you know the sounds that are being made. There's no way.
Cut to you, Clump.
Yeah. Clump, what do you think? You unmute yourself on accident. And there's like food everywhere and still chewing.
Bastion Booger returns.
Yeah. A pickle on
Never
your
had
eye.
Whataburger.
It's like, how'd you get a pickle on your eyebrow, dude?
Yeah. So how do you rank Whataburger with because I've never had it. So
Yeah,
how would you rank it in the scale?
Okay.
Let me describe it real quick, and let me see, Clump, if you agree. I feel like Whataburger is the burger place that they talk about in Pulp Fiction, where they get the hamburger royales.
Yeah, they look like it. I always think of Whataburger as whenever you think of or have that weird craving for Burger King, that's what Whataburger is. Like, that's what it's like in your head, like, oh yeah, that'll be awesome. And then you get, you're like, okay, Whataburger is that always.
But I don't like Burger King, so.
Well, it's okay.
Well,
so it's
how
not.
do you rank it? Like, if you were to have let's say Whataburger,
Okay.
In-N-Out,
So Shake Shack, Whataburger, In-N-Out, Five Guys right below In-N-Out, like really, really close.
Mhm.
And then the rest, there's kind of a big gap.
Really?
Okay.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I'll say this. I wouldn't contest his list. I think that's a list that we would conversate about and try to move. I'd maybe move some around a little bit or say, well, I would try to defend some versus others. But I think it's a solid list. I don't look at it and say, what the fuck are you talking about? You know what I mean? So I'll give him that for sure. That's definitely a respectable list that if you may disagree with it, but you can't deny it. You know what I mean?
Interesting. See, I haven't had Whataburger, so I can't say. But I can say that at the top, I'd probably put Shake Shack, and actually just kind of right below it, for me, is Wendy's.
Okay.
And I know people are like, you're on crack, but I love me some Wendy's. I don't know why.
I did. But Wendy's put me in the hospital, so it kind of gets kept down.
Yeah, well.
That was not their fault. That was not their decision
Yeah, that's
making.
not their fault. But,
That's on you, Clump.
Yeah.
Well,
I didn't decide to get fucking norovirus from Wendy's.
Well, you didn't probably expect to give it to you either. So, but,
Yes.
but
You didn't help.
I kind of have it right there, and then
you didn't help the
below.
situation.
Yeah, you didn't help it going there, but
No.
yeah, I'd say below that would probably be. Here's a controversial one, but White Castle.
Ooh, that's controversial.
I like White Castle. I'm not gonna lie. First time I ever had it, I was like, I understand why Harold and Kumar had to get this fucking shit when they were high.
gotcha.
Yeah, I understand now.
Amanda, what are you drinking? Let's go to that. What's in your glass?
Well, okay, we're gonna start off with. I have, of course, my can of Coke, but of course, our other fast food sponsor, of course, as always, Sonic. I don't really like their burgers, but to be honest with you, it's not really about the burgers. It's about having tater tots and variety. But
I forget Sonic has food.
What tater tots is not what's in your glass. What's going on here?
Oh, but what's in my glass actually today, we went with something different, and it was very interesting because the Sonic people know me so well that they were like, "Oh, cherry slush." No, we have a cherry Coke slush today because I also topped it off with a lot of Sailor Jerry.
There you go. A lot of
forgot I had
Sailor
a bottle,
Jerry.
and
I am having Kraken with some already alcoholic eggnog, so I doubled down on it. This one's Pennsylvania Dutch. I don't know, it's pretty good.
Is that made
Pretty
by
good.
Amish?
I don't know, it's made by the
I
Dutch.
think they drink.
Oh, I thought Pennsylvania Dutch were Amish. I don't know.
Maybe.
No, wait, Amish people drink. I'm trying to think.
Do they drink butter?
No, they drink beer. They do beer runs. Like
Yeah, I was gonna say they have a mafia.
Well, that's good to
Saw
know.
that on.
I mean, everyone.
I wasn't. Well, I didn't
Yeah,
know that.
everyone has a mafia.
There's a pro wrestling
Guys,
mafia. Yo,
I'm going
sure
to
there
get
is.
into a little bit of things that we saw in the news. There's only like two things I really wanted to hit on, unless there was anything else you guys thought of. Yeah, just glancing on it, Ronda Rousey's doing something with ESPN. I'd have to read it to know if I care or not, other than Ronda Rousey's doing something with ESPN. So a bunch of rumors came out today about what's, quote, on the card for WrestleMania this year.
Oh.
I think it's hysterical because it's obviously made up and clearly a farce, and everyone, because all the dirt sheets that say, "Oh, this is what's on the card," they always say the same thing. It could change at any minute. It might not be this at all. This is what's currently there. But just remember, if I'm wrong, it's because it changed last second. But if I'm right, then you heard it here first. It's like the most ridiculous shit. But one of the big things on there was because Goldberg was on the bump. Goldberg said, "I'm coming for you, Roman. You're next." And then Roman responded with something along the lines of, "I decide who's next," because he's goddamn Roman Reigns. Do you think? I mean, so for me, first off, what an obvious thing to put down anyways, because that's literally what was supposed to be in WrestleMania this past year that couldn't happen. So, of course, Goldberg wanted that match to begin with. Why wouldn't he try to make it happen again? But now there's a huge fucking uproar online where everyone's like, do they want to see Goldberg and Roman at all? Yes or no? I remember by the time it came around for this Mania, we weren't against it. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't going to be like the match we were dying to see, but I was definitely okay with where we were with it. Clump, what do you think?
I mean, I do. One, to start with, I agree with you in that I think a lot of what we hear about predicting WrestleMania is kind of funny. And this is not, going to be a direct knock on dirt sheets, because you're kind of doubling up like, well, if they change it, it's because of us. Like, no, it's probably not that. I liked the response to it. I'm down for some Goldberg Roman Reigns. I would hope that they can do it safely and do it.
Here's the weird bit: is I didn't hate it for 36.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd be less interested now because of where Roman is now. I think his character is at such a height that I don't know that him going up against Goldberg means anything to me at all anymore. Where by last year we wanted something different with Roman, and we thought, oh, maybe this could help in the Roman character. Maybe we even thought it would turn him heel or something. I don't know. But I thought it would definitely... Oh, that's what it was. We thought it was definitely going to get him the cheers that they always wanted. Well, at this point, we're not there. And defeating Goldberg might get him cheers, but is that what we're looking for? And can a tribal chief Roman even go into a match against Goldberg with any kind of heat like he's already got with KO? Like, what's Goldberg going to say? You're next because you're next? And then Roman's like, I feed my family with this title. And then Goldberg's like, yeah, whatever. Like, I feel like it was more valuable last year than it would be this year. But I could understand why Goldberg would still want to do it. That makes sense to me 100%. Probably wants to do it now more than ever just because of how big Roman's gotten with all this.
Yeah, and I think you're right. It'd be cool to see it, but I don't know if it's a WrestleMania thing where KO would be good. I mean, if we're gonna go for like these landmark amazing matches, The Rock still is a good argument, but it's so late to build it.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense. Makes more sense. Amanda, what do you think? Goldberg versus Roman?
Honestly, I think that. Well, are they doing it in Tampa again?
My understanding is yes, but
and with
just
a live
know we
crowd,
make up shit all the time. So.
Okay, or with a live crowd or no?
That's not been stated, but
okay.
Based off of what we're seeing in NXT and other places, I would assume that the goal is to get some fans there.
Okay, because I was just curious about that only because I know LA was pissed about it, but then again, I mean, look what's happening in California. So Gavin Newsom would never have let that happen. So kind of better that they're waiting. But I don't know. I kind of am at the thought of, I don't know. I think it's too little, too late, or it's more pay-per-view. I think of anything rather than having it be on WrestleMania, especially because, I just don't see how that fits. I mean, there really isn't a lot of room for these guys, these bigger guys with storyline. I mean, but you can throw Rock in there now and start something, I think, because it's Rock,
Yeah, and
but with Goldberg, it's like you have to really build that one, and I don't think that if they haven't done it by now, then we don't. I don't think we need to really see it necessarily.
Yeah. I'm kind of on board with that. I also think that if they get back to like a Saudi Arabia type thing, we could always revisit Goldberg and Roman then, because that wouldn't bother me. That being a big marquee match for one of those type shows,
or one of the weird pay-per-views, like an off one. That's that's not a major.
Yeah.
Any foreign event, like I think it's always kind of cool, to have those unique moment in time events like Saudi Arabia, or if they do another show in Australia or England,
Yeah, that would bother me at all.
Oh, that'd be cool. But
Japan would be a good one.
They used to do I miss them doing like their one-off kind of Japanese pay-per-views, like they had Beast in the East, where it was Kofi Kingston versus Brock Lesnar, which is a terrible match, but that sounds cool.
Yeah, that would be a good. That's a really good thing. And I think that didn't they do one a couple years ago with like in Japan and like the Bellas were there or something, and Cena. And
I don't remember about the Bellas, but I remember that the Shield was together with Triple H, and I remember who was it? AJ and the Club came out together and got a huge ovation, and they wrestled, I think, with Shinsuke. But the other couple matches that they were talking about that are rumored, and I'm just gonna throw this out there because it's funny to me, is Edge and Orton. You're like, okay. And then the other one that's rumored is Drew McIntyre versus Brock Lesnar versus Keith Lee in a triple threat for the world title. This sounds like, this stuff sounds so made up. So I think that we should all collectively make up a WrestleMania leaked match exclusively right here as a you heard it here first kind of a moment.
Oh, hell yeah. I like this idea.
Yeah. Amanda, what is your leaked WrestleMania match?
I will say, do they have to be on the main rosters?
I'll tell you this right now. Brock Lesnar's not even contracted with the company, and supposedly he's been leaked out. So, no.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Well. Hey, if that is the case, what I would love to see, just because this is, I think a nice big hoss battle would be fan-fucking-tastic. Let's throw Keith Lee, let's throw Walter, and I don't know, for shits and gigs, I would love you can even throw Roman in there, in that kind of a three-way, yeah.
Well, you could have also just thrown in Bobby Lashley and made it a U.S. title match.
No.
Nope. You want to go?
We're gonna call it the steakhouse match.
There you go,
the steakhouse match. I like this, the steakhouse match. Now, what would be a fun twist if we did a fatal four-way is we throw Leon Ruff in it. That would be great.
Just gets
that would
yeeted
be
over and over
You're
again.
like, what the hell? Like, he'd be all, I can beat all these fools. Like,
You know, what'd be funny though is if they kept having spots where Leon's just trying to get into the match at all, and he's getting just so bumped out that he's like getting launched behind the barricade constantly. Then when he finally gets back into the ring, they pick him up and throw him again.
Walter chop him once. He flies like, way deep into the Thunderdome.
Yep.
Yeah.
Blue Void's WrestleMania match: Lars Sullivan versus Goldberg. Clump, what is your WrestleMania leaked match?
Okay, mine is Hulk Hogan versus Lars Sullivan in a Reputation on a pole match.
Ooh.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
Jimmy Hart ringside.
Oh yeah,
100%. Let's see.
I'm down.
Oh man, I just had mine and I lost it. All of a sudden, it's just my head just went vacant. I just had it.
Oh, here's a WrestleMania leak.
What's up?
Okay, since Undertaker retired, I say they make a hologram of Undertaker, and he can wrestle whomever.
One more time with him and Yokozuna.
Maybe, yeah.
Like
That'd be good.
I had another one I was going to throw out, kind of to build off Amanda's idea. Let's have not even a match. We'll make it a home run derby of yeeting, where it's you have Keith Lee, you have Walter, you have just the big fuckers of WWE in the ring going round by round as they're sending in Leon Ruff. They bring Spike Dudley back, Scotty 2 Hotty, just people we've seen historically be yeeted. Everyone that at any points ever walked out on a Royal Rumble and looked into the ring and said, "Ah, fuck."
That'd be good for distance and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Grim Reaper's showing up in the chat. What's up, Grim? He says a 3-way cardio match: Seth Rollins versus Roderick Strong versus AJ Styles in a 60-minute Iron Man match. I say make it a 4-way. Put Dolph Ziggler in there. Yeah, these are all good leaks. These are fantastic leaks. You've heard it here first. If any of these happen, it's on our dime. We made it happen. Yeah. If they didn't happen, it's because things changed the last minute and we made it up at the same time. So, let's see. I don't have one anymore. It's gone, dude. I had one that I was like, this is going to be funny.
No, save yourself for AEW and Sting.
Yeah, all my booking prowess has been saved for AEW for the most part, as you can tell by the custody battle currently underway. The other thing, news-wise, go ahead. What is it?
A new Battle of the Billionaires, Tony Khan versus Vince McMahon. We can just watch Vince McMahon beat the shit out of Tony Khan.
Guest referee, Eric Bischoff. This is good. This is good.
Because 70 whatever year old Vince, he would, yeah. Tony Khan has the physique. This is he does not need this. He looks like a normal person, but Vince comparatively.
Yeah, Vince still does not look normal. I say we're gonna get Drew McIntyre against Johnny Gargano for the world title in a 45-minute slobber knocker. Gargano's gonna be the first one to kick out of the Claymore 6 times. That's the way it's going.
I would like that.
That's the way of the business.
Fuck you. I'd like that.
I don't know if you guys saw it, but Tom Pritchard got a hair up his ass today on Twitter and was shitting on stuff, and I was digging it, dude. So funny.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
It's really good. If you guys don't follow Tom Pritchard on Twitter, I say go find him. Someone tweeted out a short video clip of Brett versus Austin in WrestleMania, I think 12, before they hit their 13, which was the double switch. Or was this a double switch? I believe it was 12. It was double switch. But it was just a couple minutes of it, and he was all like, this is what wrestling's missing, and just went off on the lost art of selling and looking technical and looking like it's a fight. And then a few people got real antsy in the comments, and he responded in kind, and it was funny to me. I loved it. Guys, I wanted to say this. It's happening. I called it. You heard it here first weeks ago. Devon Dudley had a cameo, and the video of it leaked out. I mean, I say leaked out, but I think it just was there, and someone watched it and then tweeted it and said, look what I just saw. In there, he says that he's on location at the time during the recording of that cameo, producing a show that will have Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair in it. It's the Punky Brewster reboot. They're bringing back Punky Brewster, and somehow or another, Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss are tied to this project. It sounds like a lot. Devon producing the show, which also stars Freddie Prinze Jr. However, the focus of it is Hollywood's caught sight of Alexa Bliss. They're gonna get their grubby hands on her. She'll be gone in fucking 5 years, less probably. Enjoy it while you can. Clump, what do you think? Punky Brewster reboot, Alexa Bliss, Charlotte Flair. Is this the beginning of the end?
Fucking really?
What? Yeah. No,
I'm like,
it happened.
Really?
Amanda, what do you think?
Wow. I mean, wow.
Everyone's all blindsided.
I have the total blindside because, I've been looking because I have that Peacock thing with Xfinity. And when I saw that there was the Saved by the Bell reboot, which I did watch that. I was surprised by that. I was like, Punky Brewster, no, what are they going to do with that? Because it was very ominous. You didn't know what it is. And now that you're saying this, I'm like, I don't know.
I know Soleil Moon Frye is tied to the project as Punky Brewster, so she will be revising the role. Probably as an adult Punky. I imagine she will not still be playing a child at this point.
I would hope not.
that would be great.
I would hope not.
I would love.
How fucking poor taste would it be? She plays one of those kids with that aging disease.
Yeah.
And they just try to play it off.
Fucking progeria.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah. And just like it canceled with halfway through the first episode. People were just like, no, you can't be this shitty. Take it off. Like, it's weird. I'm like, just bring Blossom back while you're at it too, and throw. I don't know. Throw. I don't know. You can throw. I'd like to see. Bailey would be good in Blossom. Yep.
Yeah, I think she should be. Yeah, either as Blossom herself or the quirky friend.
Well, I don't think we have to revise it identically. This isn't like The Office in every country. I think they're doing it sort of like Girl Meets World, where it's like, hey, it's the future time, and some characters are the same, but it's a different thing. It's just meant to give you some form of comfort as you watch something. I don't know. It's more scary to me.
Yeah, but
Clump,
that didn't go.
now that you've had time to process, what do you think, man? Is this the beginning of the end? Is Alexa Bliss a ticking time bomb for Escape to Hollywood?
Yes, but also you have to understand, now I'm focused on the idea of Soleil Moon Frye just as a child smoking unfiltered Marlboros upset at the show like that.
Yeah, but that was real with Webster. Emmanuel Lewis was like 35 during that, so he really was like that cartoon baby in Roger Rabbit. I think we just successfully made enough aging ourselves references that Clump's probably completely confused because he's a baby.
I watched Punky Brewster. It was on like Nick at Night, but I watched it as a kid.
Nick at Night?
What
about Webster?
Webster was also like it was on reruns. Like,
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I watched these old sitcoms.
Wasn't like Gary Coleman like 20 or almost 30 when he was doing? Yeah, when he was.
Yeah, absolutely. Gary Coleman was.
Yeah.
I remember when Boy Meets World made it to Nick at Night. I went, fuck.
That hurt. Yeah.
Yeah, that one hurt.
Like when I get in my dad's car and he always has like a classic rock station on, and it's playing Chord, and I'm like, I don't like this.
Yeah, the feeling is weird, man. You hear Korn or Nirvana on classic rock, and you're like, what? No, Foo Fighters are not classic rock. Dave Grohl is still rocking hard as ever. And then you remember how your folks still watch Rolling Stones, and you're like, fuck.
Like 20, 30 years, there will be a classic hip-hop station, and it will be interesting.
There is.
There already is.
I think. Yeah.
Oh, fuck off.
No, if you've got like, I think there's one on Sirius XM.
Well, yeah, but like, I mean, like on terrestrial radio, like it'll be like, what?
No, it's coming.
Yeah, it's happening.
Yeah.
People were watching the Tyson fight and tweeting about this old school hip hop that was playing. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So I don't know, man.
It's happening.
It's happening. But bottom line, Punky Brewster or otherwise, I think Hollywood has gotten their eyes on Alexa Bliss.
First they take Becky, now they take Alexa.
Becky's not completely stolen yet, but yes, they took Becky. And now they're taking Alexa. If Bailey gets the opportunity to do a movie with the Muppets, she's gone. I guarantee that.
Yeah.
On Sasha.
Sasha, she went to Star Wars.
Well, she.
I mean, Flair, they can have Charlotte Flair. That doesn't. Yeah, good luck with that.
The hatred.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Good luck there. Have at it. We gave our best. I'm just kidding. What? She goes down as a legend of the greatest of all time. If I can't give her a little bit of razzing, Christ's sake. Yeah, this is like me talking about how I wasn't a fan of The Rock as a kid, and people are like, "What the fuck is the matter with you?" Yeah, something's the matter with me. I don't disagree with you.
You were the only person who liked Rocky Maivia.
I did not have a problem with Rocky Maivia, but I also did
God
not
damn
like
it.
The Rock. But I was a Mankind kid, and I was like, fuck The Rock. That dude was... It was the same thing you hear nowadays. That dude was given everything. He was third generation. I mean, I understand the whole $7 thing, but I also still think that there's a reality to a blue chipper football player who just didn't get drafted by the NFL. And Jim Ross said, I think we can make $1 million with you. And he's like, yeah, I'll work hard for it, and then does. But that same opportunity was not afforded to the likes of Mick Foley, where it's like, hey, you're going to probably have to try and kill yourself every night for people to kind of take a look at you. And then they look over at The Rock, and he just smiles, and they go, but you're in right now. And he goes, well, I've never even been in a ring. He goes, we don't care. We're taking you now. So that was kind of my thing even as a kid. I was like, Foley worked for everything. Everything was against him. The Rock is good looking. I'm attracted. Makes me feel weird. You know what I mean?
I love what I hate.
Yeah, I love what I hate.
I just don't like the fact that The Rock has pulled in John Cena into the Fast and the Furious movies.
I hope they pull them all into there. I hope there's another 100 Fast and Furious. I hope the
There's
WWE
not.
buys
This is
out Fast and Furious.
This is it.
Not until the
It
WWE reboots it.
No. No.
It was amazing watching Hobbs and Shaw, and they built up so much. Roman Reigns is in Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
And he was on screen a lot not saying shit. It was hilarious. Because it like
That's the best part.
That's so
they
funny.
cut to him and you're like paused and it's like thing said, and he'd like look up at the camera, then go back to welding, and you're like, motherfucker.
Damn it. Oh, here we go. Damn it.
Yeah.
That's effective use of someone like Roman Reigns. Like, don't
hey.
speak. You're just here to look pretty. That's all.
Well,
Keep
no, well,
welding that piece of metal.
You clearly
Damn
have
it.
not been watching him lately, but speaking of WWE reboots, that brings us to NXT TakeOver War Games. Was there anything in the news that you guys thought we missed before we hit War Games?
No.
War games.
Yeah, War Games! Amanda, do your best, William Regal.
No, I can't do Regal. No.
Perfect. That was dead on. Clump, you want to go ahead and give it a try?
War games.
Perfect.
I'm fairly decent.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
I can do other people, but yeah.
She's like, you got to hear my Santino Morello. Clump.
Oh, we'll have to hear that.
Clump. It opened up with the women's War Games. Shotzi Blackheart, Ember Moon, Rhea Ripley, Io Shirai versus Candice LeRae, Toni Storm, Dakota Kai, and Raquel Gonzalez. What did you think of this match?
It was a train wreck in the best way. It was awesome.
Okay.
I loved watching it. I think everyone did a fantastic job here for what it was. I liked really building Raquel Gonzalez. Like, I like the idea of like, okay, we have a person who we're building as a monster. We can't just have her in a fight with one person. We need people to focus on her. Little small thing. I don't know if. Yeah, she looked amazing. I don't know if anyone else noticed. There was a spot midway through the match where Tegan Knox, or no, Dakota Kai, took a drop kick while holding a chair, and the timing of it, because she got drop kicked literally while turning. I was like, shit, that's like, I was like, okay, that made the match for me, because there was a lot of spots where you could see people were kind of like,
yes.
When you're playing with weapons, you're making sure everyone's good, but it was just such a perfectly timed turn. If it didn't work out, it would have been terrible, but it was so good.
That was with Ember Moon, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, the only thing I didn't really like, we don't need fake hammers.
Oh, that's so funny you said that.
Burp, burp, burp.
I was like waiting for my moment to be all like, the fucking hammer. No, but yeah, that's, to me, the mallet had to go. That was the one thing that really made me kind of turn away for a minute. I was like, okay, I'm going to go grab something from the kitchen real quick. I don't need to see a fucking hammer in here because it just makes the whole thing silly. At that point, you're like, I've got a hammer. I'm going to carefully tap you in the stomach and then throw it away, and no one will use it again because we're in a brutal fight to the death. Why would I use a hammer again? You're like, okay, well. So, yeah, to me, the hammer had to go. But Ember Moon and Dakota Kai's chemistry and timing together is fucking next level, dude. Not only was there that drop kick, but the eclipse off the top. Well, obviously off the top. It's always off the top. But into the two chairs. And then the chairs explode all at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
I was like, whew.
I watched that 100 times and kept going like, bah! Someone stop them. Like,
Yeah.
the other timing miracle to me was when Candice kicked the trash can lid into Rhea's face and turned around at the same time and walked away.
Yeah, that was great.
It was so slick. It was done so well.
Yeah.
Amanda, you were about to say something about the match?
Yeah, no, the ladies, I mean, they had such great timing with a lot of the spots that, I mean, I don't think I've ever even seen some men have that kind of timing. Like, one person that I always think about with chairs is Joey Janela, and God, it's usually pretty bad. But I was just like, damn, just the timing of everything is just, I was blown away. I mean, that's next level, and you don't expect that. A lot of people don't expect that from women. So I was totally like jazzed about it. With it rolling into seeing Ember Moon and Raquel this week on NXT, I was like, whoa, it just got me really excited. Like there's some really good shit that they're coming to. And I think that if they can kind of get more of that in there and it's really elevated their women's division again to another, even a higher level. So now when everyone says, Impact has the better of them, I don't know. After seeing that match,
it's tough.
The Wargames and then this, it's a real tough call.
Now Candice broke her arm in this match. Right towards the end, Shotzi and her are on the ladder. Candice lays out a couple of chairs on the ground. She falls off the ladder onto the chairs, and then she starts fiddling with this chair as Shotzi is is getting ready to jump off the ladder onto her. And I couldn't tell, and this isn't to be, I don't want to be the only podcast who's like, I'm going to shit on Wargames a little bit. Because I thought it was tremendous showing for a lot of people on the whole show. But there was this spot that was really confusing to me. I couldn't tell if Shotzi looked dumb for jumping into a chair that was in her way anyways, or if Candice looked dumb for sandwiching herself in between a couple of chairs. Like I couldn't make sense of what was happening. And the way it was described to me by somebody was they saw it as Candice trying to put the chair in the way as though you're like putting your knees up. Like producer mentioned that. Same as putting your knees up, but with a chair. Except she sandwiched herself with it, which to me was still slightly confusing. And then the amount of time she spent fumbling with it, twisting it and turning it and trying to get it just right, and then apparently having it wrong because when Shotzi landed, it broke her arm. But it was really hard for me to tell like who looked sillier in that moment. You know what I mean? Like, shouldn't Shotzi have just been like, oh, well, fuck it, I'm not jumping on you then if you're going to be fucking around with a chair. You know what I mean? Did that spot make sense to anybody else is what I'm asking?
No.
It was weird. It was
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, what's going on here? I was kind of confused.
Okay.
But
I mean, it's also fair. You can have a messy, weird spot in the middle of a match that's otherwise great. I'm not trying to say, like, the match was awful by any means because of this. I was just super confused by it, couldn't make sense of it, and then someone broke their arm because of it. And that, to me, is like the ultimate bummer. When you take those risks, everything they do is a risk. But when you take it so far as to actually breaking a bone or fracturing a bone, and it's for a spot that's, if not forgettable, confusing and senseless, it just sucks, man. So I feel really bad for her on that one. You just wish if someone broke a limb, you'd be like, yeah, but watch the spot. Like, it's fucking cool. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like the Finn Balor jaw. You're like, yeah, but watch the match, though. Like, it fucking, like, it makes sense, dude. Like, he should have broke his jaw. You almost feel like, you know what I mean? Like, Clump, are you with me?
No. I get you. Yeah, I agree with that. It did feel like a weird spot to me. Like, there's a few times, honestly, and I think the hammer pulled me out of it because I'm focusing on that. Like, do you really need this? And as people were kind of fucking around with weapons, I was like, okay, maybe we're relying a little bit too much on these. I wanted to say, like, another thing, like, just weapon wise, that I didn't see a point to, and I saw way too much of, was EO's jump in the trash can. I was like, okay, that's cool and all, but there's so many better spots, you know?
I'll give you that 100%. I was actually very underwhelmed by that trash can spot where I thought, oh, that's kind of funny, but it felt a little silly. And then I was like, okay, but let's get back to like the Ember and Dakota stuff, because that to me was like highlight reel stuff.
Yes.
It felt like the trash can thing was like, but we definitely want to get a meme out of this one. Is there anything anybody can do to get a meme out of this?
Yes,
what it felt like.
I agree with that. There was a spot later in the match I thought I don't know if it was meme worthy, but I don't know who was in the trash can. It basically got collapsed on them, and I was like, that's actually really cool. If you well,
that was
I would have them just stay in there. Like, you're stuck in this trash can trying to fight out of it, or they get pinned in that trash can because your ass isn't getting out of it. I was like, that's fucking tight.
Yeah, I was kind of fighting with that one in my mind as well, because it's like, why wouldn't you just pin the trash can? But
that's why you're trying to take this off.
But realistically, from a ref perspective, if I can't see your shoulders, I cannot count to 3. And the refs did a remarkable job in this one. I loved that they refused to count on Shotzi when she was murdered and Candace was trying to get the pin. And he goes, I can't. That other person has to enter the ring before the match even begins. I loved it. I loved the idea of a ref using rules to tell a story. Imagine that. Sorry.
Yeah.
Amanda, go ahead. You've been trying to say something for a minute there. I apologize.
I was just wondering, because, with the spot, if you're pinning someone who's in a trash can, technically, as a ref, aren't their shoulders not on the mat, technically?
Exactly. Well, yeah.
On the trash can. Yeah,
That's
they're on the trash can. But, it would be cool. It'd be cool to see, but I was just thinking that.
Yeah, it's a great point. That's a fantastic point.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not on the mat.
Not on the mat.
Yeah. So but then again, people get pinned on broken pieces of table, and the table's still mostly there. So, but, maybe they're a little bit on the mat.
Yeah.
I mean, wrestling's a funny world.
When their shoulders are up, but
Hey. Or you're Mickey James and they just end the match because they've decided to.
Yeah. That too.
Man, that look she gave to the ref, like, what the fuck? So good. I still see it in my mind sometimes. Just from a ref perspective, I'm like, I never want to see that look on a fucking face.
I wouldn't want to piss off Mickey James. I think she's the one that wears the pants in her family. Yeah, she's the one who wears the pants in that family. Her and Aldous. Yeah.
So women's war games, a lot of good spots. I do think, if I can be honest and give it a real critique, because here's my one concern about growth from an artistic standpoint, I suppose. If we're going to talk about wrestlers being artists and performers, I think one thing that we, as big fans of women's wrestling and the current state of it versus what it used to be, we're incredibly forgiving. And so sometimes we talk about things being absolutely perfect when they're otherwise, if it had been performed by, say, Cena and Orton, would have been shit all over, because how can you be at this level and be so sloppy? You know what I mean? And I think that happens sometimes with women's wrestling, with the blinded support of it. And I truly believe that they are at the height that we've ever seen them, and they've got a long ways that they can continue to grow, which is fantastic. I mean, they main evented WrestleMania. I don't think that there's like a cap on it, for sure. I do think that there was a number of spots in here where things were a little overly cooperative, to the point of people like working extra hard to get into position. I'm supposed to be over there now, and it doesn't make sense why you'd go over there. There was a whole lot of Shotzi running up, hands down, to get hit by stuff. I don't know if Shotzi's meant to be looking that careless, where it's like, she could look careless of like, I guess I don't care if I get hurt, but also if someone's coming at you with a kendo stick, why are you running there with your arms down, bracing yourself already? Like, you're not even trying to block it. You're just like, come hit me with it. It was just a little weird. those kind of little tweaks I think could be made to actually make them seen by not a super fan and also be seen as absolutely on that top level. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
The one thing I think that you can do to an artist that's actually like the worst thing to do is just to blindly tell them everything they do is fantastic and never give them a chance.
But I think with the women,
go ahead.
I think the women really, like right now, this is such an untapped area that, you know, it's not really the specialty that you would think like women, WWE women in general ever really doing.
Oh yeah.
So I think that there is a lot of road to go and a lot of learning that has to be done.
Yes.
So I think that that's where it comes off a little sloppy. It can look a little messy and things like that. But I think as time goes on, that they'll get that timing. But there's some women who just get it. Like you could see that obviously with Ember Moon and Dakota Kai. They get it. I mean, they really get it. Candice gets it. But there's sometimes that, even though, you know, she's probably one of the most experienced in doing these weird kind of matches like this, her and Shotzi, which Shotzi kind of blows me away because I'm like, dude, I've seen some of the stuff you've done at Hood Slam and, you know, I don't get it. But I think that as time goes on, you're going to see it be more comfortable. And just in the way women are in general is, you know, you want to be better at everything. So, of course, you know, they're going to work at that until, you know.
Oh, yeah. And there's no doubt in my mind that by the time we get to like the 4th or 5th War Games match that we truly are looking at like the main events. You know what I mean? And I get it. They wanted to open and close the show based off what they were, and that made sense to me. But I do think that they'll get there for sure. And like I said, I don't say it as like a knock. I just say it as like, can we be honest here? You know what I mean? And that's all we're trying to do. Be honest about what we're seeing and why we like things. Because at the same time, if I'm going to critique other companies for their sloppiness, I don't want to like sit there and watch this thing and say 0 issues ever. You know what I mean? 100%. Like if I'm actually rating you, I'm probably giving you like a 93, 90, 94-ish. You got room to become perfect, but you guys are doing a fucking stellar job. You know, it's not, you don't hang your head on one, you know what I mean? But like, once you tighten those things up though, fucking forget it. If that's all you got to do is tighten that up. Yeah.
Opening, I think, was a good position for that match to be in. I don't think it if you had put it anywhere else, I think that a lot of things would have been lost in even the good stuff that we liked. So I think opening was probably the best position it could be in.
Oh yeah. And I thought it was a great job with them. So for me, walking out of that, I really wanted to see Ember and Dakota. But then following up on NXT, we ended up getting Raquel and Ember. What did you guys think of the Raquel Ember on NXT? Because we're going to go ahead and just break through. I don't know if I mentioned it earlier. I kind of feel like I didn't because I'm that kind of a host who drinks early. But we're going to talk about NXT and the fallout. And the fallout of this match was Ember Moon versus Raquel Gonzalez. And then at the end of that match, Tony comes out to get one over on Ember, and Rhea comes out and protects her. I don't remember anything happening with Shotzi on NXT. Am I mistaken?
No, I don't
take the
think
night
so.
off? She may have taken the night off. So that's the fallout of it. What did you guys think? We'll start with Amanda, of Ember and Raquel as the fallout of this. Like I said, I was so excited about Ember and Dakota because their chemistry to me was next level. So I can't wait for that to happen eventually. Well, it happened.
I think
once
they're
before.
saving that. Yeah, they've got to be
once.
saving that.
But yeah.
They've got to be saving that. But I think, you know, that match was really, it was phenomenal. I think Ember really kind of took that kind of that forward movement, and I was very impressed. Like with Raquel, I was very impressed with Raquel in that match. It's kind of like, wow. Like before, I'm like, I don't know.
This one
Jury's out, but I was very
business?
impressed. Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah, that was really great, and I thought, you know, it was well done, well timed, and everything. And I think that I know that the fallout in the next couple of weeks and whatever's the next program they're doing it's going to be good, really good. And I think there's going to be a lot of really good women's wrestling coming. Yeah. So it gave me hope to see that kind of a match and all of that fallout after.
That's true. What did you guys think, Clump? Also, bear in mind, I did call it on the show before we predicted, and I said, how are the heels supposed to get the edge over the baby faces if the baby faces have the edge with the briefcase? And I said, oh, that's right, Indy Hartwell will be interfering Don't worry about that. Mark my words. And then, boom, Indy Hartwell interfered. That's right. Hack wrestling journalist. Marsh, I make it up as I go, and I'm right all the time. Clump, what do you think?
I like it. I thought it was a good idea. Sorry, I'm like perma fucking with my glasses because I need to get new ones.
Nice.
And these are like, yeah.
What do you think of Raquel and Ember?
Not bad. I think I don't think Ember can have a bad match, and I think they had spots together in War Games here and there, but the focus was so on Dakota Kai. Seeing, they did good not to give too much away. So when they had this match in NXT, you're like, oh shit, awesome.
Yeah,
keep doing what you're doing.
100%. Super excited. Raquel's looking strong as ever. She always seemed kind of tough, but I think this match is the one that made her for me. Where I'm like, oh, okay. Between War Games and this, I was like, she's a strong beast. Go out there and murder. Let's see. Finn Balor cut a promo on there. Anything else about the women's matches you guys want to talk about? I don't know where Toni Storm falls in all of that, other than she talked some shit to Io, saying she wanted to come for that title, and Io's like, I barely know you, but I don't like you. And then started punching her, and I was like, okay, that's all the reason I need. Let's get it. Pretty sure that's something she wanted to say.
Who else is excited about Zaya?
Okay, not there yet, but
All right.
she wasn't involved in this.
I know. I thought you were just talking about women. And
Just women in general?
Yeah.
Women in general, guys. Xia Li and Bao, that video package on NXT. What'd you guys think of that?
I have
Did
to
I-
watch.
Did I
I have
think
to watch
it's-
it again.
It was crazy. It was them training, and Xia Li's hands are getting all bloody and shit, and just being told to hit that wooden puppet thing harder. You know what I'm talking about. The Bruce Lee wooden puppet thing. Clump, you know what I'm talking about?
The thing from Saw.
The wooden puppet thing from Bruce Lee movies. But how does nobody know the thing? And then
I know. Yeah, I know that.
So they were doing that.
Also,
and-
Karate Kid. What was
Yes.
it? Karate Kid 3?
Yeah.
Yeah, Karate Kid 3.
I wasn't
Yes.
allowed to watch kung fu movies as a kid.
That was not a kung fu movie.
Well, but
It had fighting. I wasn't allowed to watch it.
it's enough for Clump. He could have really hurt himself watching the movie.
Oh,
like
wait, well,
that. So it was
also
actually
Cobra
super
Kai.
intense. You guys should definitely check it out. I'm super curious where it's going. They showed the lady face again, except this time it had white face paint with a red stripe over her eyes. The one who's kind of masterminding this whole thing. I am so fucking fascinated by this, and I can't wait to see where it goes. But if you guys
it's
didn't see
cool.
much of it-
That's why I have to watch it again, because I was kind of taken back, whoa, what the hell's going on here? I need to watch it again. Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching it, and I thought I was watching a different show for a second, because I was like, this is different. But
Yeah, that's why it caught me off guard. I thought this was. I'm like, what is? Did I accidentally hit something and
Yeah.
I'm watching something different? That's what I thought I did at first, but
yeah.
no. So that's why I have to go back.
Yeah, I can't wait to see how that plays through. Let's see, Ciampa and Thatcher. Clump. People were talking about Ciampa and Thatcher as being the let me up match, the cool down match. To me,
No.
I'm watching this match, and I started thinking, holy shit, we got a fight on our hands.
Yeah, no, I was like, this is intense as shit.
Yeah.
And especially the little bit of blood. I was like, oh no, that doesn't look that came the hard way. Oh no.
Oh yeah. You don't.
You guys
cut
mad
your
at each
ear.
other?
Yeah. This wasn't middle of the forehead Cody or Ambrose stuff. This was, oh, your ear got ripped open again. Sorry, dude. This was pretty brutal, pretty awesome. Here's my thing. Tell me what you think about this, Clump. As I'm watching this, I'm thinking, holy shit, what a fight. This is when the moment kicked in for me of saying, what went wrong with the women's War Games match? This is why I started saying maybe we need to critique it a little bit more. Because why did I just watch a 45-minute weapons match, and it's the next match where I say, oh, we got to fight? You know what I mean? Shouldn't War Games feel that way?
I think this isn't to knock the women's match, but maybe it's the size of the spectacle. I get what you mean. when we have yeah, like there's so many people doing shit. It doesn't really become a fight. It's a wall. But it's war games. But as you're watching that many people just fucking about in the ring, you're like, there's a lot of things happening here. I can't handle it. So a very personal one-on-one like fights, like, oh shit, this is a different type of intensity, and it's a lot more intimidating. It's not that intensity wasn't there in the 35 people in the ring fighting, but there was 450 people in the ring fighting. So it made it, yeah, like, okay, there's a lot of y'all doing things right now.
Hey, maybe there's something to be said for that. Maybe all the gimmicks and all the hoopla can be distracting. Maybe is what we're finding out a little bit. Blue Boyd in the chat says they were focused on the games part. Man, maybe.
Games.
Let's see. Amanda told us earlier she did not get a chance to see this one. I recommend this.
I
think, quite honestly.
I just did, actually.
You just did? Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I did. When you told me I had to, I was like, oh boy, I got to see this. But, actually feeding off the games
You're
thing,
better at doing this like half watching something than I am when I'm fully paying attention. I feel bad.
Dude. Well, when you tell me, like, I just was like, whoa, I had to. But honestly, like, when I think of going into that whole thing about with like war and then the games thing, actually, if you think about it, this is a different kind of, this is more of a, it's just a head game. This was more of a mental thing. Mm-hmm. So if you want to think of it as like with war, it's a different type of war. It's that mental war, because the both of those guys, Ciampa and Thatcher, it's mental chess. And they're really beating the shit out of each other. And you're just like, whoa, that just, it, yeah, I know people, they're like, oh, games, I'm expecting like, oh, come out with like, I don't know, come out with a spatula that has, I don't know, thumbtacks on it and like whip someone in the face with it. But no, this was a different type of game. And it was, well, hey, that, hey, it's a toy, whatever. But it's a different type of game. And I think it has its place in it. Now, where it's at, I don't know if I agree where it's at. It could have probably, been a little bit later. But again, it's it's something that's it's a mental game. And you can still see that when it rolls over into.
For me, why I liked where it was is because there was such a spectacle before. Is this was something that didn't feel like a cool down. It felt a lot like a draw you in match. Like, hey, pay attention, look closely. Like, and I felt like I was leaning forward watching this match. At the end of the thing, when people were like, "What did you think was match of the night?" I don't even remember stuttering before. I was just like, "Oh, Thatcher and Ciampa. I want to rewatch that again right now." The other stuff was like, "Oh yeah, that's cool," and I'm sure I'll see highlights. But that was one where it's like, no, put that one back on. Yeah. That was my thought of it. Let me see. What do you think about Ciampa getting the win? I feel real weird about that. Like, it makes sense, but at the same time, it's like, what are we doing with Thatcher?
I agree. I think I think Thatcher looked strong enough that it isn't going to hurt him, but he's been doing kind of weird stuff where I'm like, shit, he needed a win here. Like, he needed a win. I don't know if he needed a win here. Yeah, but maybe if he led into this with like some decent wins, like I'd be like, okay, cool, like some pay-per-view wins, like, oh shit, like he, have him get out and beat someone, like, okay, cool, so he looks a bit good. He looks like he can do this, because he's also really kind of developing his personality to me. Like, I don't see this outlandish over the top personality that can survive, like, say, the person who lost the match we're going to talk about next.
Yeah, he wasn't exactly on a tear where he finally got humbled by Ciampa. He was
exactly
kind of a dude
humbled by
around.
Ciampa.
Yeah. Amanda, what do you think about Ciampa getting the win here?
I can kind of see. Actually, I wasn't expecting Thatcher to get the win, honestly. Going into it, just kind of, for me, is I think that with Thatcher, there's something that they really need. They're trying to build with him that I think that Ciampa's the best, the best partner to really do this with. And now that we saw, when you fast forward to NXT too, and Ciampa's match with Cameron Grimes.
Yeah.
There's a lot of things in there now that you can really build with Thatcher. That I think it's a whole different style of wrestling and a whole different program that's different from what else is going on. So I think that it was a good thing for Ciampa to win and not give Thatcher that win quite yet.
So you think by the fallout, including Thatcher sitting ringside for Ciampa's match, saying, you think that there really was almost a humbling of Thatcher, where he thought, "Hey, I'm Thatch as Thatch can. I am what it is." That Ciampa came in and was all like, "You're not at the top. Quit acting like you could be there." That this could actually bring an avenue to have Thatcher propel himself a whole nother level. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I think so, because when you see him coming back and sitting there, it's like almost like, well, why is he sitting there watching this? It's like, obviously, I got a little humbled by Ciampa, and I think that was that point of it of, I'm just here to I'm here to watch. I'm learning, he's like, they're wrapping that learning thing in. Exactly. And so I think that's where they're kind of going with that, which is a cool thing. Now, having dude run in and all that, the other stuff that happened with that was kind of funky and it didn't need to be done. But I think that just having him sit there ringside watching, like, I'm watching this, says a lot.
Yeah.
So
because when Ciampa did it, it was, I'm trying to intimidate you, and when Thatcher's doing it, it's I'm trying to learn from you.
I'm learning from you because I'm going to beat you at whatever. This isn't just a one and done. I mean, we're going for it. So I
like
think
the idea of that. I like that a lot. Clump, what do you think of that?
I agree with that. I think that's I agree with that. I think it's an interesting dynamic if we look at it that way. Like the idea of like maybe a student master thing, or like respecting the game. Like, it'd be unique for sure. I'd like to see them do that, and I think, in a sense, Ciampa could carry that, because I don't want something silly involving Ciampa, because Ciampa doesn't do fantastic. It's not that he's bad at being silly, but this character is just so good for him. Do
you think you tag him up?
Shit.
I think you could. I don't think you have to, but I think you could. Because remember what we've been saying about Ciampa lately is we've been saying, like, 6-year senior with this guy, that we want something to really revitalize this character and not just be on the hunt for the gold. If he starts taking on this partnership with Thatcher and they go for tag gold, that wouldn't be the worst thing that ever happened. I think it could be pretty interesting to see him and Thatcher really start influencing each other. I'm digging it. I like the idea of that.
I kind of dig that. Yeah, I'm digging that.
Yeah, Amanda, you turned me around on that one. I was kind of not happy about that, but you're all like, calm down.
No, but I think that there's obviously a lot that you can do with it. And I know that you can't have, like with Ciampa, you can't have him be like comic relief. You can't have him in certain types of matches because it's just not going to make sense.
Yeah.
But I think that and also even with Thatcher at the same point too, it's like, okay, I know we're talking about, okay, yeah, he needs a personality. Well, not necessarily. Tim doesn't necessarily need personality. It's just more of what can you do with what can you make of what he can do.
I think a menacing asshole who knows how to beat people up is enough of a character for me.
Yeah, but I think with Ciampa, I mean, there's so much there that the two of them, it's really, it's like who would want to go up against that? I mean, who could really?
I honestly, and I'll say it because it's a hot take. Hot take. This is internet journalism. I think Thatcher's a better heel than MJF, because I think Thatcher comes off as just the kind of prick who likes hurting people. He learned how to fight, and he's so confident about it. He doesn't give a shit. He doesn't want friends. He's just an asshole. He's like the dude who's always at the bar hanging out and be like, let me show you a cool little thing, and fucking like twist your finger around. You're like, dude, fucking stop. He goes, buy me a drink. Like, fucking knock it off. You know what I mean? Like, he feels like that kind of a guy where he's all like, yeah, he's a dick. Dude, I don't want to hang out with that guy. You know what I mean? Where MJF comes off as the nicest guy in the room who's telling everyone, please tell everybody I'm mean so I can give food to me.
really mean, guys.
Yeah,
I
and
don't- yeah, no.
MJF also comes off as a cookie cutter heel. All of his promos are generic wrestler promo, and you're like, okay, that was a good wrestler promo. Thatcher comes off as just an asshole who wants to see if he can hurt you because it makes him laugh. You're such a dick.
Oh, yeah.
Dude. You're a dick.
Yeah. I don't necessarily take it as a heel thing, though.
I
heel,
do.
or whatever.
He's not even
I
on
don't.
Twitter. Dick. You know who I'm never
Well,
drawing
he's not
fan
on
art
Twitter-
of?
well,
Thatcher.
He was
Dick.
for 2 seconds. He was for 2 seconds, and then people who really know him were like, they forced him to do that, and he backed away from it. So that's not a heel move. That's just more of a.
Yeah,
that's
but
he's
it
very
comes off
private
as a
person.
heel move.
But no. I just think of it as, that's a thing. Like, like he enjoys like hurting people, and that's kind of cool. It doesn't mean that you're a bad person because you like doing that. That does not mean that. No. It's kind of sick in the head, but that's a cool thing, I guess.
He's a sadomasochist.
Pretty
Yeah.
much.
Stop
And he does it with a
sensationalizing
smile.
Fuck you! That was being built up for a while, okay?
Yeah.
Like try to say it all like softly, like I'm. Not
And
that
that's
I would
weird
know.
to compare him with MJF. That's so randomly weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. You get
Yeah,
a tool and a guy who's just like, I like to torture people.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
100%.
Two totally different things.
That's all
I
I'm
think
saying.
it's awesome that WWE hired him away from Kink.com.
Yeah. Whoa. Good point.
Boom.
But yeah, I think to me, I think Thatcher is a true classic heel like we haven't seen in a really long time. And I think everybody's overcompensation for MJF has actually spoiled his gimmick before it even really got going. That's not to shit on MJF. I think he's fine. He's a fine wrestling promo, generic bad guy promo. Okay. My family smells. We're inbreds. I get it. But Thatcher is just like, hey, come play. Let's have a good time. And then he ruins your day and he laughs about it. And you're like, dude, why are you doing that? You know what I mean? Like, come off with somebody you actually hate. Yeah, what the fuck? You told me you wanted to hang out and all you do was like be a dick to me. And he's like, yeah. What? Like, so to me, that's like easily to like, fuck that guy. As much as I like him, fuck that guy. But I don't want to go on forever about Thatcher and Ciampa, but I think that's a really cool thing. I'm really excited about it. I do think they could team. After that, just because I want to get through some of this, we had Loomis and Grimes in a strap match. This was some of the most unique usage of a strap I've ever seen, leading all the way up to the finish, where Loomis ties the strap around Grimes' leg, only to sweep his legs out from underneath him to make his face hit the fucking chair.
I was like, oh, shit.
Yeah, as I was watching, I went, oh! Like,
yeah. No, don't do that.
yeah. What is he doing? Why is he doing that? Stop it. It'll be fine. Grimes
You
will be
can do
safe.
that? Shit, that's bad.
Yeah.
I want to say, like, so I've not been the biggest proponent of Cameron Grimes or of Dexter Loomis, because I haven't seen a lot of them, and I feel bad now because I liked both of these guys a lot coming out of this match. I was like, shit, you both are amazing. You're both everything I want in a wrestler.
Yo, Grimes.
'Cause I just-
Grimes is to me second to Raquel in stars made over the Wargames week.
Mhm.
Because Grimes in this match came out fucking like.
Yes.
This was good. And then his match with Ciampa, I was like, fuck, this guy can go. He did this week what Amanda's been telling us since he signed. Just wait. Just wait, she keeps saying. I'm like, I don't know, he just keeps saying to the moon. She's like, yeah, but wait. This dude is Adam Cole levels.
He
of
went to the
King
damn
Go.
moon and back.
Yeah.
No, and Dexter Loomis too was like, shit, I like scary, weird guys, and you're doing this very well. You're frighteningly intense.
Dude, the way he kind of pet Cameron Grimes' face at the very, like, right after he had the pin.
Yeah, I was like, oh no.
Yeah, when I saw it, I was all like, ooh, don't like that.
Also, I respect that. So he gets a lot of flack online for people thinking that his gigantic black tattoo on his arm, it is a cover-up, but it's a cover-up for something like horribly offensive. No, it's just covering up douchey tribal tattoos, which I was like, you know what? I can respect that. I get that.
Yeah. I found some old sleeve tattoos of his that were, just fine. One of my tattoo artists, I've only been tattooed by 3 people. I've got an awful lot, and I strictly stick to those 3 mostly lean on too. But the one who's tattooed me the most has almost an entirely black arm like that too, because it was the arm that him and his friends practiced on as they learned, and it just became a bunch of cluttery shit. So he made the whole thing black and had it lead up to his wrist, where he put the silhouette of the Iron Giant in trees, a tree line. So when he holds it out, it just looks like the Iron Giant sticking his head out over the tree line, and it just goes into a bunch of shadow. It's fucking fantastic.
That's clever. Yeah.
You know, and it's clever. But all of that, Amanda, go ahead, rub our face in it, make us eat the crow. Like I've said before on this show, the one thing we love the most, I think, Clump, you missed it this last time. Me and Kev talked about it a bunch. We love more than anything eating crow on this show. When we're wrong about something, we're wrong. Amanda, make us eat crow. Tell us about Grimes.
Oh my God. You know, that didn't disappoint. I was just thinking, okay, what can you do with a strap? Okay. And then I kind of was like, okay, when I know, don't answer that. But when he brought it out, you know, on the previous NXT, I was kind of like, oh, okay, this is a little different. All right. I wonder.
That's what a lot of people say when that happens.
Oh, I know, but boy, I went into it thinking this is going to be great, but I did not know that was just going to elevate him to another level, to Cameron Grimes to another level. Knew it was already there, that potential, but I just did not know that was just going to to something else, because that was some good shit. It was intense. It was some great shit. And I just was like, dude, this is great. I mean, this week, I've been watching old PWGs with Trevor Lee. Old name, for those who don't know. And just like the promos he would cut then. Talk about, if you want a good heel, okay, you need to go back, Marsh, and watch some of his promos from PWG. To the moon! Oh, no, not even some of this shit. I was watching, it was Smoking the Bandito, and he wrestled Darby Allin. It opened the show. Okay, and let me tell you, that promo, you want to talk about someone who is a great fucking heel promo, you need to look at some of his shit. And I just really hope that they keep giving him a mic and stuff. I mean, because that to the moon shit, yeah, whatever. That's your WWE
I thought
fodder,
I'd hate it, but I like it.
But you like it, and then when you see him speak a lot of these things, you're going to be all, give that fucking man a mic even more. You know, give it to him more. Like, even if someone comes and beats the shit out of him because they're like, oh God, this is stupid. No, trust me, it's going to build into something good.
Yo, and my favorite promos of him are after he lost.
Yeah.
He gets his ass kicked and cuts amazing promos about it.
Yeah, and like if you look at some of them, like this one with Darby Allin, you need to watch this one in particular, because it is probably one of he just talking shit about not only like, oh, I wasn't invited to Bola, I was an alternate when someone got injured, you know, and then, oh yeah, so what? The person who won Bola pinned me in 3 seconds. Yeah, so what? You know, like in 14 seconds, so what? And he's very bitter about it. And then I got to wrestle this asshole opening this thing on a show that it was shitty and I wasn't even booked on before. I mean, it was just such a great promo. I mean, and you sit there and you're like, this guy it's just so good. And I think that really elevated him even more. And I think that made his stock rise even more because of what he was booked in for NXT.
Yeah.
With Ciampa. And I was like, I had to go back, and I was looking just now too, just because I was thinking about, had Thatcher ever wrestled Ciampa before? And I think it was just once at Evolve. Oh. It was when Thatcher was the champ. So of course, if you have the network, go find it. I think it was back in, I'll have to look at it. I was just finding it. And then I was like, I swear that Ciampa and Trevor Lee had fought before once at PWG. I was right. So I want to actually go back and look at that match, because I thought that match that the two of them had was pretty damn good on
sounds
on
good.
NXT.
I don't have a reason to think otherwise.
Yeah, and it set it up in a way that, you know, it's a good program with all three of them having, you know, Ciampa, Thatcher, and Cameron Grimes in a program now. Yeah. Because I'm pretty sure the Dexter Lumis thing is pretty much almost dead in the water now.
I mean, why go back? Yeah, I don't know where Dexter goes from here. I'm excited about it and curious, but I do think that we know exactly where Cameron Grimes is going from here to the moon.
Moon.
Clump
Yes.
is
So
pissed.
this will be an interesting one because I have a feeling. Did they announce any matches for next week for NXT? Because this is where I'm
Yes.
thinking we're
No,
gonna
I
get
don't know.
Thatcher and Cameron Grimes very soon, and I can't wait.
Oh,
for that.
that'd be good. That'd be
That's
good.
gonna be a really good
Let
one.
Grimes be the fucking whipping boy between the two of them.
Yeah, I think
Like
that's
that-
probably what's gonna happen.
What was that stupid one? Was it Becky and Sasha were in a match against someone to see who they could beat fastest? I don't know.
Mhm.
After that match, unless there's anything else, was there anything else that either one of you guys wanted to say about Grimes or that scenario?
I implore you guys, I'm gonna give you guys more. I'm gonna eat more crow. Go back and take a look at some of his old work. I mean, you can find it. I think Trevor Lee did Evolve. No, he really didn't. I don't think he did that much Evolve, but he is more PWG. But definitely go back and see some of those PWG promos
Well
that he
said.
did. I think that you'll get a good sense of him, and you'll either be, God, I don't like this prick, or you're gonna be all,
Well,
love this
I knew
guy.
there was
That's
something to him because that company that makes the ROH toys do not make very many, and they made a Trevor Lee one before he left NXT, and like right before he left, like they tried to squeeze one in, they definitely wanted one. So I knew there was something about this guy. It's like there's something here because they wouldn't have scrambled to get a toy made of him as quick as they could, knowing he was leaving, unless this was going to be something that they wanted to be able to say he was ours once,
Yeah.
So
And then also,
we're learning.
he has the Hardy seal of approval from both Hardy Boys. So
Well,
at North Carolina thing, just because
but
they.
come on.
I know.
Guys, the North American Championship match, Leon Ruff versus Damian Priest versus Johnny Gargano -Wrestling. It's his married name. Johnny wins with the help of a dozen people in masks, and only one reveals himself to be Austin Theory, and he exclaims at the end, "It was me, Austin! It was me all along! Austin!" God, dude. People are loving that shit, and that annoyed the shit out of me. But he's a heel, so I can't knock a guy for annoying the shit out of me when I'm not meant to like them. I know when I gets worked sometimes. Clump, what did you think of this match? I really thought Leon Ruff looked fantastic. He did a really good job of selling the shit out of everything, but still looking like a dude who just was going to fight fucking for his life. And I love that about Leon Ruff.
Leon Ruff did the best Johnny Gargano impression ever, like of what we think of Johnny Gargano. Just getting his ass handed to him and selling the shit out of it. And I liked it. So I think I thought it was pretty good. Damian Priest looked awesome. But he was not the star of this match.
Yeah.
Which is, yeah.
I also like Damian Priest showing concern. I will say I agree with you. And as the Terrible Wrestling Takes host says, Leon Ruff went in there to catch himself an ass whooping. Shout out to friend of the show, TWT Takes. It was quite the ass whooping. Amanda, what'd you think? And what'd you think of the finish?
sad.
Getting smacked by the pipe.
Yeah.
Here's
I'm
the thing.
sad.
Here's the thing that does it for me, and I apologize. I'm going to cut you off because I'm a dick. I'm a heel. You're in you're 50-50 split. I'm a definitive heel. Damian Priest looked like a fool by the end of it. It was really good. All of it was good. And then you had literally 6 or 7. I couldn't keep track, but at least 6. And I may have had double vision because I was drinking, because that's how I watch things. It's like, They end up hitting Damian Priest with a pipe so they get the win on him. But Damian Priest wipes out all 6 or 7 of them over and over again. Just boom, out, boom, out, boom, out. But he can't put away Leon Ruff or Johnny Gargano. He can take on 6 other dudes who, by the way, some of were fucking big. One dude I thought legitimately, I was like, oh, is Rich Holland back? That guy's big.
Yeah.
There was a jacked dude in one of those fucking costumes and just got laid the fuck out by Damian Priest. I was like, why can he take on 6 dudes at one time? No problem. But these 2 little dudes, big fucking problem.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was sad. Like little Leon getting his ass beat. I mean, that would have been a feel good story for for War Games, but
Sorry,
yeah, you have to give it to Johnny
trouble. I
Wrestling.
apologize.
No, it's true. I mean, and then it's like, okay, it goes back to Johnny Wrestling. Woo.
Yeah.
But then I say to myself, well, this didn't go to Damian Priest.
I wanted it to be Damian or Leon. Clump, what did you think of all this?
I'm happy. I mean, Johnny's getting more wins and pay-per-views. I know it's in the most heelish way, but yeah, I would have preferred. I can't see Leon holding the title much longer because I feel like they keep his purpose is to be kind of, the underdog getting beat up, and that's he's a fantastic performer.
Yeah. Maybe
my hope is that this can build him up and he can become something more. He can become like, come back from this and be like, oh shit, remember I lost, and on and on and on. Okay. So, I mean, I'm happy. Honestly, I'm happy that Gargano won it because I think he can bring a weight to a belt. Though him as a heel, I mean, it makes sense to me, but
what do you think of the Fallout promo too? So we had Austin and Gargano and Candice with a broken arm, Indy Hartwell out there, and they're calling themselves The Way now because I have a feeling he's got some custom-made Mandalorian gear for the next takeover he's trying to get ready for. So they keep calling themselves The Way in this promo that annoyed the shit out of me, and I couldn't tell if I was being worked or not.
Oh God! So is Candice gonna come out as Baby Yoda then? Well, no, I don't know.
They'll put mirrors around the egg thing, and Austin's gonna be carrying it out.
Yeah,
it's gonna be so good.
God damn.
That's probably what's gonna happen. All right, guys, you heard it here first. We got new Wrestlemania card. We got the next takeover gear for Johnny and Candice. You heard it here first.
Also, The Way doesn't make me think of Star Wars. It makes me think of like, God, they just sound like some bad indie band that's fronted by like the employees of the worst Starbucks in town. Yeah. They only do L7 covers.
You know what, dude? And I know this dude doesn't listen, but I used to have a roommate in New York, and he was part of a band called the Old Souls.
I want to punch your roommate from New York.
Dude, I went and saw them perform. I fucking walked out. I was like, this is the most self-indulgent, masturbatorial music I've ever heard in my life. These bunch of 20-year-olds saying we're old souls, we're wise beyond our years, and just fucking rattling off the most trite bullshit cliches I'd ever heard in song form. And I was like, fuck out of here, dude. But he was like legit. He felt like that was his thing. He thought that was truly, he was wise beyond his years. I hope that dude got a fucking check.
I would love to see a K-pop band named Old Soul. Soul, as in Korea. They're old Korean men. I would love to see that. Yes, that would be great too. I mean,
or a comp.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That's the only time, that wouldn't be douchey at all. It'd be fucking phenomenal.
Sol viejo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This is why we do this. This is why we drink and talk about wrestling, because it gets us these great ideas.
It could be a 3-stage live tour of old soul, and old soul, and then we'll put your roommate's band on like the fucking opening stage.
Yeah.
They're the we get one song. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Yeah, and I want the mariachi band, like I want it to be like a proper like Sinaloa and like banda band where it's like 55 people.
Yes.
And like you wonder how their contract works out, who gets paid. We all know that it's the tuba player or the accordion player.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Clump's the one on the show that doesn't drink. Guys, what did you think of the idea of Johnny and Austin Theory being teamed up? I don't know how I feel about it.
Why did Austin Theory disappear for a while? Like, did he do something dumb or?
He said he quit wrestling.
Okay, I'm cool with him being thrown back in here. That's what you get. That's what you get, asshole.
You're gonna be with Johnny Gargano.
He said he quit wrestling. I don't know. He just did.
Oh, I can go back to Raw. The fuck you can.
Oh, you know what, too? So he left Raw. He comes to NXT. He gets he catches himself an ass whooping, trademarked by TWT Takes podcast. He catches himself an ass whooping by Bronson Reed, #1 friend of the show, like one of my 2 drawings of his. So half friend, half not. Frenemy, as it were, of the show.
Bronny is great.
I like Bronny. Dude, I love Bronson Reed so much. That's why I drew him twice in 1 week. I was like, I can't. That was not enough. I need another one.
Bronny's good people.
He seems dope as shit.
He is dope as shit, and me and my friends owe him ramen in LA. Next time when they tour and they're in LA, we owe him ramen.
All right. Well, when that happens, have him send me a picture of him giving me the finger.
Okay.
So.
I could probably have him do it now.
Like, there's no reason he doesn't hate you enough now. Let's be honest.
Yo, can you flip this fuckhead off for me? Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, that piece of shit? Yeah, no problem.
Yeah.
Let me hear 3 seconds of his first episode. I'll give him a finger. What do you guys think of this pairing? I don't know what I think about it. It seems like it's probably going to be okay. Maybe it gives Johnny a new look, which is all right. I don't like Johnny with a title, though. Maybe that's just me. And then we'll talk about Wargames. Anything you guys want to say about any of that stuff?
No.
I like Johnny with the title. I think he does have a certain kind of ability to be beyond the title, but one thing I agree with you on is he loses so fucking much that maybe giving him a title once in a while makes you go, hey, yeah, he puts on fantastic matches that he loses in. It's like I can see the work.
Dude, that sounded like a participatory title.
Hey.
Participatory. Thank you for participating.
Yeah, but is Austin Theory only really there because, Candace has a sidekick, so Johnny needs a sidekick?
No, maybe there's that.
Wow.
What if they both... Whoa! What if both teams win the women's...
Yes, what if Austin Theory wins the women's title? Yes.
Oh yeah! Yeah. Okay.
Clump's like, yes! What if both teams win tag titles? Because we haven't seen the women's tag titles in NXT yet. Apart from when Sasha and Bayley, the golden role models, being the role models that they are, and as tremendous as they are, showcasing the titles on NXT as promised. The only tag team to do so. Elevating the title. Bayley, Sasha, yet again. Clump, Apart from that, we've not seen them down there, but it said it could be a traveling title in that sense. What if we had Candice Indy tag title champions as well as Austin Gargano NXT tag title champions? And then you get Thatcher and Ciampa coming after Gargano and Austin for those titles.
I support this.
Clump's like, I want to hate this right now, but I swear to God, that sounds good.
It's almost like a cake. It would be almost like a cakewalk for Ciampa and Thatcher, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Austin can go, but yes, I agree.
Austin can go.
Dick. But
when you're saying like, is he just there because like Candice as a person? I'm like, I just want to refer to Austin Theory as his valet. Just.
Oh yeah. Gargano's valet.
His whipping boy. I would love that if Johnny's gonna be this heel, like he just puts people in matches for him. I want him to be like, I want Gargano. I don't know. I just don't like Austin Theory, so I just want to see him get his ass whipped over and over again.
Then you're in the right spot for that.
Yeah.
I'd call him a Cabana boy, but we already have one of those.
His name's Colt. He podcasts. Boom.
Amanda's like, you shut your goddamn mouth.
I like Colt Cabana. I honestly, he's like one of the people I truly want to meet in wrestling.
You do. When I got that Cabana headband thing, you snatched it right up. You're like, yes. I want that. It's what does it say? Does it say Bang Bang on it, or just say
Cabana?
Cabana, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it says. It's a headband. I got it in a pro wrestling crate, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this. I'm not like the biggest Cabana fan. And Clump's like, I know exactly what you're doing with it. You're giving it to me because I want this. It's like,
Don't steal that doll. I will stab.
He's
stab. I'll stab you with my spoon that's in my carne asada. I will stab
Don't even worry.
you.
It's not been shipped yet, but it will be.
Is that the little wrestling buddy one?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a stuffed dog. I'm excited.
Yeah. There's
I'm
some stuff.
excited.
There's stuff.
He's
Guys.
gonna go next to my Big Daddy that I have, my big Marty Squirrel doll.
Very good.
I call it Big
The
Daddy.
main event, Men's War Games, Undisputed Era versus Pat McAfee, future Hall of Famer Pat McAfee, I might add, Pete Dunne, Oney Lorcan, and Danny Burch. This match, I felt like was very good. I really liked the idea of the cricket bat. Haven't seen that ever, although it does borderline on that hammer talk, where it's all like, hey, that looks murderous, but you're not using it well. I think the cricket bat borders on that, but is also such a European anomaly, it gets away with it. What do you think?
I agree with you, because whenever I see a cricket bat, like a cricket bat, it's a paddle, like it. It essentially, like you're supposed to, like, for maximum impact, use it like a baseball bat or a kendo stick or something like that. But whenever we get a weapon that truly has dangerous elements to it, we use it like we've never used a weapon before in our lives. So we like cradle it in our hands, hit people.
It's a little, there's that. Yeah. There's that aspect to it. But again, it's a European anomaly, much like European kickball, oftentimes referred to by the proper American name soccer. Oh, what? What'd I say?
We don't do great internationally as is. Thank you for making this worse.
We lost all of our Irish viewership. I did. So I was working for a large company in New York, and I had interviewed for a promotion, and I sat down next to one of these store managers, departmental managers, sitting down together. We both have our iPads out, and we're watching things on our iPad during lunch. He sits right next to me. I'm watching Bret Hart versus Terry Funk in ECW for Terry Funk's farewell match, because as you do. And I turn over, and he's watching European kickball, and I turn to him, and he looks at me, and he looks at my screen, and I look at his, and I look at one. I go, "Oh, imagine that." He goes, "I was like, we both like fake sports." He paused. He looks at me and he goes, "Didn't you just go for that big promotion?" And I was like, "Sure did." He's like, "Yeah, good luck." Grabbed his iPad and walked off. I was all like, "Oh,
fuck,
that's gonna come back."
Worth
a lot
it.
of heat
Worth
that
it.
day. Yeah, worth it.
That's it.
Yeah, that was the day. That was the day I turned heel. I'm the opposite of Bret Hart. I'm a heel in Europe and a face in America. Guys, all the stupidness aside, this match was pretty dope. Sam Roberts said it the moment Pat McAfee showed up and cut his first promo, because I'm not going to pretend I'm any Scoops Roberts. Scoops Roberts is the man. He is our goddamn role model. The moment Pat McAfee shows up in NXT, cuts his first promo since TakeOver 30, Sam Roberts says, "Wargames is coming up next. This crazy son of a bitch is going to do a swanton off the top of that cage." That's exactly what happened.
These fuckers are going to catch him.
Yeah.
That's more what these people are going to catch this fucker who shouldn't do this.
Yeah. Now, on that same bump, is it just me, or did he like fall fucking fast in between all them?
He weighs a lot more than any one of them. He's a dense motherfucker.
That's exactly what I think it is. I was like, dude, nobody in that ring can kick a soccer ball 150 miles an hour but you. Your legs came flipping down. They couldn't do about it. Amanda, we haven't heard from you in a minute. I apologize. What did you think of this match?
Well, it went the way I thought it was going to go. Not for Bobby Fish, but I love Bobby. But yeah, it went the way I thought it was going to go. It was very bittersweet. I think I would have preferred a Pat McAfee win on this, because I think Pat McAfee. I know you would have preferred a Pat McAfee win. No, but
what are you going to do with Undisputed Era that you haven't already done?
That's I don't know. It's well, look now. Bobby's out. Kyle, can do whatever his thing. He had surgery. Tricep.
Poor dude.
Tore it
It's
off.
gonna hurt so much.
Yeah. So, I mean, now is a good time as any to. That's it, I think. And so, because I mean, I love Bobby. I mean, I don't see him coming back anytime soon.
Yeah, and to be
His
honest,
age.
I guess it's shit either way, and you can't plan for that kind of stuff. But I feel like that's even more reason to have a loss at the end. You have a loss, and you have Undisputed Era say, "Hey, look, we're not what we were. We need to go our separate ways before we come back together again." And hint that they will come back together again, because you never know. You never say never. But
yeah,
with
maybe it's not
an
gonna be an
amicable
NXT.
breakup. Yeah,
exactly.
exactly.
And maybe when they get back together, it's not going to be at NXT.
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. So I think that,
it'll be in Saudi
it's
Arabia.
good to, have one win for the road, and then, whatever. Because future Hall of Famer Pat McAfee will have his day in the sun.
I'm reading through like the Wikipedia page of Bobby Fish, and it came down, and evidently he's got an amateur kickboxing career. And I paused, and I thought it said amateur kickball, and I was like, God damn it! It certainly back in.
Son of a bitch. You couldn't even go pro.
Damn it! I didn't even know they had professional kickball. God damn it!
They do, which makes no sense because kickball's literally a sport designed to like even out the field.
Yeah, it's a good point.
It's a sport designed so nobody's good at it because the ball rolls all shitty and you kick it bad. Like, you could be the best athlete ever and you're gonna suck at kickball. It's the goal. Some kids just suck.
That was dodgeball.
No, dodgeball's great because you can get like you can get a big meaty
kill
fucker.
somebody, yeah.
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 Who can throw rocks and just murder like nerds.
Yeah. Clump's like, I roll deep in the dodgeball world.
Dude,
the one spot I could have done without was the same spot they've done in every one of them, where both teams are completely down and they both stand up at the same time and they both go face to face, and then all four of them start punching each other. I'm tired of that spot. Undisputed Era does it in a lot of their matches. Let's fucking wrap that one up. But if, like you said, it's their last hurrah, then you know what? I guess one more time's not so bad. Was there anything else about Wargames specifically? There's only two things that happened in NXT we didn't cover that I want to talk about briefly. Anything else about the Wargames thing other than it was just pretty dope there at the end? And Pat McAfee's a future Hall of Famer? No.
I wish he sold more. I think Pat McAfee, he did fantastic. He did the best, I would say, of any person who has no right to be in a ring. I'll put it that way.
Oh, for sure. And I would tell you, I would venture to say the reason he didn't sell more is because of who he was in the ring with. And he would have been one of the few people overselling anything. He needed to stay on par with the rest of the guys if he was going to ever be seen as on par with the rest of the guys. So I hear you. I think it's circumstantial, to be honest. He doesn't to me come off as the type of dude who's afraid to sell a little bit. That motherfucker went on his own podcast this week in a Andy Kaufman style neck brace and talked about how he hasn't got out of bed since Sunday.
Oh,
that dude's willing to sell. Let's see real quick. Grizzled Young Veterans versus Imperium versus Everrise. There's nothing I had to say about that other than fucking tremendous. Just great. A great tag match with three great tag teams, and I am not a fan of Everrise, and I really felt like showed out in this one. Anything you guys want to throw in about that one at all from NXT?
Yeah.
Cool. Pete Dunne, Killian Dane. That was fucking awesome. That was brutal. I want more of that. Yeah. I think UK wrestling and producer will watch NXT UK without me every week because she cannot miss it, and she doesn't care if I catch up on it or not. It's that good for her. Pete Dunne and Killian Dane was another sign of what we caught a glimpse of with, not a glimpse of, a highlight reel of with Walter and Dragunov. I felt like Thatcher and Ciampa was a bit of a highlight into, hey, maybe we could go that route. And I felt like Pete Dunne and Killian Dane saying, I think there's a market for this. And if we start seeing this bleed more and more into wrestling, and that's the wrestling we get down the line, if like 5-10 years we're looking at all UK style matches, I'm going to be in a fucking happy place. These matches look like goddamn fights. And that's where we started.
Because,
go ahead.
A couple years ago, we started in this, probably right before the New Japan bubble. And we were getting there. And that was that rise of all of those guys in the UK of, you know, your Skruls and your Ospreys and, you know, Tommy End and all of those guys, all those European guys. And I think that once New Japan came and everyone's like, oh, this Japanese strong style, oh my God, that British wrestling kind of like took a back seat.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still there, but I'm glad to see it's coming around again.
Yeah.
Because it should be there, because honestly, like, there's a lot more to it. Because I think if you ask someone, well, what do they think of British wrestling? There's three things they usually say. They think of, okay, I think World of Sport. They think of Osprey and flippy shit. And then this British wrestling that we have now. And I think that I'm glad it's coming back.
Yeah.
Because I prefer to watch that style. Yeah. More than anything. Yeah. I mean, honestly, here, I'll be the heel in the room. Give me all the shit you want, people. I'm not a Lucha Libre person. Sorry. I will take British wrestling over Lucha Libre any damn day. Any day.
I'm a fan. I can get that. Like, I like British wrestling. I like the impact of it. You know, I feel like, to me, it's like anything. There's people who are truly, truly talented, and I think British wrestling lends itself to have more people in it, because lucha wrestling has had its time where it's become this like big thing, but so there are people who are fantastic at it.
Yeah.
There are also people who are okay at it. Not everyone is there, and you know, within it, you kind of pigeonhole a lot of people. Like, my favorite performers are people who can kind of balance it out.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I'm excited to see just the mixing, and I will want to see more of this, and I'm glad it's getting a spotlight, you know, and I think it'll be cool to see these people just mix it up more and more.
Which I think is fantastic, too, because that takes you back to the territory days. Back in the day, when you were learning, you went from territory to territory, not just because you didn't want to get stale and old in your own territory, but because you needed to learn other styles and how to keep up with other audiences, and it made people more well-rounded and stuff. You don't get Ricky Steamboat and Ric Flair if they didn't go spend time in Mexico and in London and in New York and in Florida and California and Oregon. You know what I mean? Like, you have to go to these different corners of the world to learn what other people are doing. And I think NXT UK and the UK scene in general, that British strong style leaking over, I think is fantastic. I think something else that's notable, again, I've mentioned it before, I do listen to Cornette's podcast semi-regularly because I like to hear what he's saying, things that he likes. I'm not the type, I don't like to, when he starts like ranting and raving and yelling and hating this and that, I kind of zone it out, or I'll fast forward a little bit, because like, I don't care why you're hating on stuff so much. If it's an honest critique, that's one thing. But when he really likes something, I take notice, because I think it's interesting. For someone who we traditionally think of as hating everything, what does he like? And one of the things he said about Walter Dragunov is he said it was the safest match he's seen in a couple years. That it looked like the most brutal fight in a long time. And he goes, and I don't want to pull back the curtain and give away all the secrets. And he goes, but this was an incredibly safe match. Much safer than almost anything I'd seen. And it was a more brutal thing than I've seen in a long, long time. It was really funny because he said that if this was what wrestling had become to today, and it wasn't the cosplayers and video game wrestlers, that he thinks the ratings would be higher and whatever. I don't know about any of that. Yay or nay or otherwise. I don't know. But I do think it's interesting. The idea that we see these matches in the NXT UK and we think of them as like, oh my God, what a fucking brutal fight. But then we also hear from people who are insiders for sure being like, man, fucking they're sleeping on pillows and blankets, so they'll be back in the next town tomorrow, you know, like, you're not getting injuries and stuff, you know. It's just interesting to me.
That's why I enjoy watching WXW, because with that, their product, obviously, you know, that's, you know, Dragunov and, you know, Walter, you know, that's where they came from. But when you see that, that's that blend of everything. And if you watch the Carat, probably I'd say the 16 Carat for the last, I'd say go about maybe 5 or 6 years back. I mean, it's pretty phenomenal. And I believe they also did a tag tournament too a couple of years ago. I think it was WXW, because the lead, they had some really good tag teams. I know Ring Conf was in it with Thatcher and Walter, and I know the leaders, Marty Scurll, Zack Sabre Jr. were in it. But it's one to watch, because that's that style where it's a meld of like everything. And when you see the Carrot, you're getting a lot of different styles all meshed in one. And that's really what's driving that British scene, and what's been driving the British scene. So I think that's if you ever want to like really dive deep into it and figure out what the hell is the British scene, watch WXW. I think it's on the network, right? I don't get the network. So
there's a lot on the on the
go back and look at some of those 16 carats and take a look.
Yeah.
You'll be shocked.
Unless Clump has anything else to say, I think I'm ready to move on to AEW.
Let's do it. Let's get upset.
Let's get pissed.
I'm not going to do well at defending this.
There is some stuff here, Clump. Let's see. AEW opened up with Young Bucks and Hybrid 2, TH2, as they say. A couple things. Before they got to here, we had Impact. Clump, I know I sent the videos to you. You saw both Tony and Tony talk about the little advertisement they had on Impact, and then also the Kenny Omega promo inside the truck, right?
Yeah.
Okay, Amanda, did you see both those videos?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Lot
to say.
to say. Who wants to start?
Go for it.
I'll start. Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, and I'm gonna fast forward it. After watching those two, I'm gonna also ring in the Kenny and Don segment on AEW too, because
I'm fine with that. We could talk about the whole Kenny Omega thing right now. Let's break it down.
Okay. All right. First of all, did we need that whole paid advertisement? It's like, thank you, Tony, for letting us know it was a paid advertisement.
What the fuck was that?
What the fuck is that supposed to mean? Okay, are you throwing your money around? Are you trying to be Vince 2.0? Because that was kind of...
Let's be honest, you're throwing your dad's money around.
Yeah.
First,
his dad's
yes.
money. It's not his money. I hate it when people on Twitter are like, it's his money. Well, yeah, because he took it from his dad. Okay, yeah. We know where that goes. But it was very douchey. Like, what the hell? Okay, so you're basically saying you're sponsoring this episode of Impact that's on Twitch.
And for what? It sounded like to me begging the Impact viewers to watch AEW. Not. Yeah. It didn't sound like a gift to Impact that AEW has arrived. It was,
please, come watch my shit.
Yeah, please come watch us. Look, I'm willing to pay for your show. Just please watch my show too, please. It sounded like he was begging for their viewership. It didn't sound like he was trying to bless their company with an appearance of their champion. It was advertising for my own thing. I don't know how to get your viewers. Like, what? That's what it came off to me. Go ahead.
And when you look at Twitter, all of their roster was the Impact roster was kind of a stir. Like, you see Sami Callihan getting all pissed up. Well, that's what Sami Callihan does, but and you see Jordan Grace putting in her 2 cents, and I was just like, shut up. Just shut up. Like, come on now. Like, there was more extracurriculars than anything that happened, because then you get this okay, why were you there? You really didn't get an answer. And then you got tuned in tomorrow to AEW, didn't get an answer. Then where was Scott D'Amore's paid advertisement to come beg the AEW viewers to watch Impact? I was waiting for it. I kept waiting for it.
Well,
didn't happen. But
they don't have the money. They don't have the money to advertise on TNT.
Well, they could have done it free. They could have done some. I don't know. He could have like blitzed something. I don't know. He could have came and tackled Tony.
Tony could have just paid for it and been like, we're gonna do this. Maybe we should. If we're gonna do a Vince thing, we'll fund it.
Mm-hmm.
Clump,
I mean,
what
he
did
already
you think?
said, well, maybe I should buy Impact. I mean, I'm like, you probably already did. Just, I mean, like, what are you doing? Like,
and then there's the rumor that he's buying Impact. Do you guys think there's any truth to that? I really don't.
I mean,
he likes to waste money, so I wouldn't be surprised.
It's not a lot of money to waste. I'm pretty sure I could buy a fair amount of it with the Whataburger money I just spent.
I know, like, I probably could have. Yeah, I probably could have too. But
Now,
I mean,
hold on, Clump.
Impact Wrestling is the bad let's make a deal thing.
It is. It's what's in the box. Clump, I know that you loved the cleaner, Kenny Omega from NJPW and All Things Cleaner. This was the first time they started getting overt. I mean, well, I wouldn't say, I guess, first, because they started having with the girls sweeping, which, by the way, I found out today, the women who are sweeping for the cleaner, for his gimmick, they're the Jaguars cheerleaders.
yeah, I need a job.
Yeah, that
obviously.
I didn't make it better for me, I don't think. I don't think I was all like, you know what, maybe it did, because I was like, well, at least they're not using wrestling trainees to do it. At least they're like, hey, cheerleaders, come cheerlead over here, too. Okay, but, Clump, this is where they started doing do the thing. Just do the thing. I'll do the thing. Want me to do the thing? Do the thing. I'm going to do the thing. It'll be the first glimpse you've seen of the thing since I did the thing. Clump, I'm not going to ask you to defend this shit. I just want to know from your perspective, at least that part, did any of this excite you as to what's on the horizon watching the Impact specific?
It was like the pen of Shakespeare brought to wrestling. It might be the greatest thing I've seen as a wrestling fan.
Really?
No, fuck no. This is fucking drizzling shit. So...
It's okay if you say it is. It's a safe place.
The fuck it is. I know I'll get shit on button.
Well.
No, but like I'll try and throw a positive out. I appreciate what they're trying to do.
Okay.
I appreciate the idea of let's connect two companies. Let's do this. I appreciate, let's try and bring Kenny the Cleaner to the US where he hasn't really been seen.
Yes.
I appreciate that. I think that's awesome. The execution, and I haven't seen a lot of people be super excited about it because I fucking hate Don Callis. I don't know if I'm the only person who hates Don Callis, but I find him grating and annoying. And when I had to stop watching NJPW, like, we're going to do the history of the Bullet Club, because his voice, like, it's part, like, I like the idea of it, but when he's giving personality, I'm like, fuck off. I hate it. And then I also don't like Josh Matthews, and I'm like, why are you still here? You have, like, you are here because you were a name in a bigger company. You don't bring anything unique to the table. We could find somebody in college who likes wrestling and is going for a degree in broadcast journalism and make their fucking dream come true. But no, we have Josh Matthews here, and I don't get it.
Actually, I think I agree. I'd prefer to see like a Chris Van Vliet in that same position, actually, like doing the interviews for Impact and AEW. I think that'd be much more interesting to me. I agree with you that. So my issue with the Don Callis thing is that, like, he keeps talking about when he was trained to be a wrestler, but Don Callis was never a successful professional wrestler.
Yes, no,
he was successful on the other side. So what does it fucking matter if your uncle trained him? He was never good at it. It doesn't matter. And your uncle also never famous at it. So you had two backyard wrestlers in the fucking family. Congratulations. What is that supposed to mean to me? That's my issue.
Yes,
go ahead,
like, if he was going to do that, like, Don Callis has had a fantastic career in various promotions and has had a really unique career. He's long been a heel, not in the fucking ring, but he's the head of the Truth Commission, the head of the person who brought the oddities out. He was Cyrus the Virus, which is a great lift of a decent character from a hilariously bad 90s movie.
Jackal, right?
Yes. No, Cyrus the Virus?
No, at one point wasn't he called Jackal with the fucking jewel on his head? Is that the same motherfucker?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was Jackal as head of the Truth Commission.
Yes.
Yes. But no, he's had a good history. I don't know why we need to, like, wrestling is in many ways a suspension of belief, but when you're also trying to build the reputation of performers based on prior history, you can't just be like, yeah, all this shit. No, you didn't. You did zero of that. It doesn't.
Plus, there was a guy locally here who trained me how to wrestle. That's not an impressive thing for his resume. You know what I mean? If I'm known for
you don't
anything,
know
it's
that.
not in-ring work.
But
Yes.
if he makes money off of it, Marsh, one day you can go back to him and say, you need to, or if you make money from it one day, you need to go back to him and say, you might want to put on your resume.
Oh, yeah. You trained me.
There's a person who taught Hitler to paint. He didn't go out and say, I taught Hitler to paint.
Why did you, I mean, we're talking about me and you went to there, dude. Like, Christ. Like, let's deal with, there's an underlying issue here, it sounds like.
You're the painting Hitler wrestling.
Yeah.
But, like, what I mean by that is, like, it's not a feather and cap kind of thing. So, like, it's more Don Callis. Okay, cool. I wouldn't say this. That's not your bag.
Now here's the other thing that's crazy.
You're a better wrestler than Hitler's a painter. Fair?
Good.
You've at least committed less atrocities.
From a personal standpoint. Yo, here's the other thing. I remember Jackal being tiny. He was a little dude. Motherfucker's 6'2".
Yeah,
Krang is a big motherfucker, I'll tell you that. If he makes Jackal look small.
Oh yeah, Kurgan's fucking massive.
Yeah.
He's 7'1".
That's what it is right there. But that's crazy because once you said Truth Commission, it clicked in my head and I went, oh my God, it all just flashed before me. I was like, that is the same dude. And the motherfucker brought back that was the other thing that bothered me. He's suddenly wearing these fucking red sunglasses. Oh, I'll get out my heel glasses because I'm a proper heel now. It was all too gimmicky.
He's done that throughout his career.
I know.
Talk about that shit. These glasses had.
Your dad taught me. Your uncle taught me. Did you do anything with it? Not really. Okay. Was your uncle fantastic?
I like to see the world like
Nah.
I'm playing a fucking Virtual Boy.
Did this... Once you see that, you see the Tony and Tony... where Tony Khan's hugging Shivani. We're so glad to have you. We're just glad to have you. I'm paid for this on Impact because I'm a good guy. Begging for advertisement. It made AEW sound like a secondary company. I thought that was a shitty place to start with a fucking champion.
Yes.
But then you get Kenny and Don Callis coming in on a weak little lake hopper chopper. I'm not saying I'm like a helicopter expert, but that was a cheap little that's a Cessna of a helicopter. That was not much. I've been on more impressive helicopters myself.
It's the equivalent of driving in a 96 Civic.
Yes.
For as much money as Tony Khan and his father has, that was kind of cheap. It's kind of shitty.
But
I'll be honest
regardless,
with you.
it's a helicopter. I don't go to work in a helicopter all the time, so whatever.
Well,
Hurrah.
that's like the kind of thing that you take to go look when you go to Vegas and you're looking at the Strip and the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
Yes,
that's a tour.
It's
one,
not.
Where it's like $150 and you get a fucking walk around.
Yeah,
100%.
and it's not even like, okay, the night before you had this really fancy luxury tour bus, and now you have this cheap ass fucking helicopter on the actual show that's on a network. Like, I was like, what the fuck is this?
He comes out, Miami Vice jacket, Miami Vice sunglasses, Jackal on his arm. They go into the AEW ring, and now... Which, by the way, the whole thing inside of the tour bus led me to believe they filmed that days in advance. He was nowhere near Impact whatsoever. He didn't interact with anybody on Impact at all. And they put at the end, people were not thrilled about that. You get into AEW, and now they cut the same exact promo, but about 5 minutes less. But it was the same content entirely. They just used a little word economy and shaved off a bit of the phrases they didn't need. But it was identical, all the way down to the do the thing. Are you going to do the thing? Do the thing. Oh, I'll do the thing. Let me do the thing. I'll do the thing. What the fuck? Also, if you didn't watch all of NJPW, the thing, it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
It was frustrating to watch from my standpoint.
It is kind of the part of me wants to like say, yeah, it's a work to get you to hate him as a heel. I get that. Yeah. But part of me also is like, this is literally so singularly focused on the person who loved that so much. It does nothing for anyone new. If I'm watching wrestling with my dad and my dad does not watch wrestling and it comes on, he's been like, what the fuck is this dumb bullshit? Put Forensic Files back on. I'll be like, that's fair.
Sorry, Dad.
Yeah. Sorry. Let's go back to the first 48. but it's weak. It's I want to like the idea of this.
Yeah, you
but
love cleaner.
Yeah, and I like trying new things. I also like the idea of if Tony Khan's going to be on TV and be part of this and be so present, he needs to define his character. But it comes off like a Tim and Eric bit.
Yep.
All of this comes off like a Tim and Eric bit, but not in a good way. In the like when Tim and Eric got really popular, that kind of comedy and humor, you had a lot of people doing that, trying to make Tim and Eric bits. And no one can be them but them. You know, it feels like we're gonna do this.
Real quick, cheers to K-Lam in the chat saying cheers to us. Cheers to K-Lam. Sorry you couldn't be on this one. We'll see you next week, I'm sure.
Senor.
I agree, though, with you, Clump. I do think that when you explained the cleaner gimmick to me in approximately 45 to 50 seconds a couple weeks back when I said, I don't get it, it was much more thorough and explained, and I was much more excited for it than any of the 20 minutes of Kenny Omega I've watched this week. I feel like I'm more confused, less understanding of it than I was to begin with, than I was from even your 40 seconds of this is the cleaner gimmick and this is what you're going to get. And I was all like, oh shit, that sounds cool. When Kenny comes out for 20 minutes and talks about himself, I'm like, what the fuck is he? What's he going on about? You know what I mean?
But here's a question, Clump, I have for you with Kenny Omega the Cleaner. Because when I think of Kenny Omega the Cleaner, because obviously, you know, I dabble in New Japan. I'm not going to say I completely watch it. We'll dabble.
Little dabble do.
Little salt bay.
Kenny Omega the Cleaner was the head of a faction.
Yep.
Okay. So thinking of that and what that faction was, for the people who don't know Bullet Club, which people really don't understand what Bullet Club is. They just buy the shirt. Correct. Shout out to the Hot Topic crew.
Shout out to white supremacists who don't understand
it. I did, yeah. through the horns then. For those listening. So what's his faction? Is this Don Callis is his faction? It's just him and Don? Because obviously they screwed the Bucks over, you know, if you watch BTE, if you watch the internet wrestling. So it's like, what does it mean? Like, it's not the cleaner. Like me, I'm like, dude, you're not the cleaner. I mean, yeah, just because you do that stupid thing, yeah.
It's not. And I think maybe what's difficult is it's self-referential, but I don't think that's helping it at all.
Yeah.
It's, hey, we're gonna do the thing. We don't know what the thing is, and it doesn't connect to it well. We're gonna be. It's a community player's version of it, you know. And I agree with you. Is I think what made the cleaner to me such an impactful character before was it wasn't just that he, you know, ran a faction. He took over a faction, and by the faction already being this really chaotic kind of dominant presence in NJPW, that was not. It wasn't a happy-go-lucky fun thing when he came in. It was a, you know, we don't care. We win matches. We have scary people. Yeah. Awesome. Cool. Very kind of, in a lot of ways, very much kind of like a militia organization or, you know, him coming in like this, I don't know if I were to compare it to something similar. It's a dictator coming back into their country, you know, and trying to something like that. Because I saw Bullet Club in terms of how presented in kind of a, you know, revolutionary force kind of thing. Like it felt very much like that, just in how they presented it. So Kenny coming back, it's almost like there's a coup d'etat and the leader's coming back, and it's not working. Now, if Kenny and AEW and Impact more slowly did this and didn't kind of throw out the cleaner idea, but say he went to Impact and came out and he had people on the Impact roster welcome him with open arms. You kind of do that connection, or you have.
Or if you had a stare down with literally anyone.
I wouldn't want to stare down. I'd like him to have people kind of with him to kind of create this ominous presence.
Sure.
I could see that.
I'm saying anything.
But him and Don Callis, it's weird. And then also, I go back to him and Don Callis. They're both very similar in their presentation, where they're both heels, but they're not scary heels. They're more chaotic.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So having two of them together is very weird, you know?
Yeah.
Like, they roll toward the chaotic evil, you know, and it's very... You need a lot behind it to make it work, and it's not there. I also feel like, and just throwing this back and kind of like, as this, the whole idea of the feud with AEW and them, or the creation of this, it doesn't work when you don't have a defined structure to go against. Yeah. And that was NJPW to me with Bullet Club, is it was a, you know, there were factions in NJPW, but they kind of went to war with each other, or they kind of went to war with the structure that was NJPW, which is very defined even when it wasn't very present. There's these traditions and ideas behind it.
If Impact even like did the opposite of what you said of accepting with open arms, if they were like resistant to it, we don't want you here, we don't need you here, we're doing our own thing. AEW is Tony and Papa's money bag. We don't need you around here. Don't worry about us. We've got this. And the Good Brothers come out and say, we don't need you around here. You're no good brother. We don't need you in our locker room. We don't need you on our tour buses. You can go ahead and go. And Don Callis is like, hey, guess what, though? I booked this show, and I'm putting Kenny on as much as I want. Then you have a sort of animosity, or at least a showing of AEW is taking control over Impact in some way. And maybe at that point, Don Callis and Tony and Kenny Omega means something. But as of right now, they're just together because they're family friends, and I don't see why. Even with all the talking you've done.
Yeah.
You stumbled over your words, but it made more sense as Tony too.
Yes.
A lot of what's happening in AEW is inmates running the asylum, and it's not working. If you're going to have Tony Khan appear at all and be a figurehead and kind of go back and forth in his role, you can't do that. You either get rid of his ass or bring him in.
Yeah.
And I think in this kind of invading idea, you need leadership. If you're already creating the idea of people booking the show on the other team are involved, that would be awesome too. Is Kenny goes out, talks to Don, and you're like, yeah, well, what made this possible? I'm not alone in this. You know, the cleaner was popular because he changed the world and on and on. And then Tony Khan comes out and says, yep, and he's going to change it here too. And then have Kenny and Don and Tony, or something like that. But it just feels half-assed. It doesn't feel...
Yeah, for sure. Kevlar says in the chat that he turned off the Impact promo halfway through because it was so terrible, and I think that's a little telling. Amanda, you've been sounding like you're on the edge of saying a few things. Go ahead, take the floor.
Sorry.
Yeah, when I think of the cleaner too, not just the Bullet Club, but I always think of epic Kenny Omega matches.
Yeah,
is when I think of the cleaner. And to say that Moxley match was a really good match, sorry, no. That's probably your average, run-of-the-mill NJPW match at best. That's like him. Let's face it. Like, that's probably like him, like Kenny wrestling. I don't know.
It felt like GWC to me.
Ishii, or something. I mean, it wasn't great. It was cool. There's some cool spots in it. It's cool. It was like you're wrestling for a never belt and not, any belt of importance. But that's where I'm kind of like confused of when I think of the cleaner, that's what I'm thinking of. Oh, you're gonna bring back this guy that had these amazing matches that basically like Dave Meltzer like gets a real big hard on for, and sometimes I'm like, oh, I don't see it. I get it, because he is not the wrestler who wrestled Okada in those epic like matches at the Tokyo Dome. Sorry, it's not.
But maybe that's because Okada was carrying a lot more than people give Okada credit for.
I won't say that.
Possibly.
I think they're fantastic dance partners because he's done good in other matches with other people. He really has, but I don't think any one person can be. I think he's been overbuilt. I don't think it's. I don't want to say that to take it away from him. I think he's kind of been, by those around him, overbuilt. So I'm
not saying definitively. I'm saying that there's a possibility there. When I hear about the matches, and I've even seen one of the Okada matches, I haven't watched all of it. I'm not going to pretend to lie. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to pretend to know thing. I don't know.
I'm not going to pretend to lie. I'm going to tell the truth.
I'm not going to pretend to lie. I'm going to pretend to tell the truth. I'm just saying that there's a possibility that Okada carried more weight than people give Okada credit for, because Omega gets a lot of credit for a lot of those matches, and you don't hear as much about Okada. You do hear Okada's great and one of the best in the world. You do hear that in a degree, right? But I do feel that there's a possibility, just because of what I've seen with Omega in America, that makes me wonder, was more of his weight carried by others than people are willing to accept? And I don't know. The answer could be absolutely not. It absolutely could be the opposite. Like I said, there's nothing more on the show than we love than eating crow. We are hungry for crow because we love this stuff and we want it to be good all the time in every promotion ever. So when we're saying something because of how we feel or what we perceive, if we turn out to be flat out wrong, hell yeah, bring it to me.
Yeah, and I can say that I think Okada carries a lot of what he does.
Yeah.
Big, like, for me, one of the big matches that I can call out that I think that, Okada does his share of carrying a match was at All In, him versus Marty Scurll. Yeah, and I will say that as a big Marty Scurll person, and actually if you watch All In, I'm kind of on camera and have a lot of reaction. But anyways, I'm just saying that, Marty did a pretty good job. But Okada carried a lot of it. And you can tell. And that's probably the best example of someone wrestling Okada that I can think of off the bat. So that's where I think that Kenny, and Kenny's great and all. I'm not going to say he's not the best wrestler in the world. I mean, he's one of. But honestly, I don't know. AEW has not done nothing for me and him. I'm kind of like, this is all hype. That's how I feel about Kenny now. And I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take for me to be all, I'm wrong. But I don't know. And this isn't the way to do it. Because there's nobody. I don't think there's anybody. Well, yeah. I mean, but then here's one thought I've always had in my mind.
Yeah.
What if you had a match that was a four-way between Kenny Omega, Okada, John Cena, and then you can throw just whatever, big person, that, carries the company in there. What would that be like? I mean, seriously, who's carrying this match? Like, who stands out? And when I think about that, the one that really stands out would probably be Okada. And even Cena to that way, because Cena's carried a lot of people.
Yeah.
Cena carried, I think Cena carried quite a bit of people. And I think that, I don't see Kenny doing that, because if so, you would see it even in the tags that he's had. Yeah, I think you would see it on AEW, but I haven't seen that.
That's what I mean.
I want to see it. Yeah.
That's why I'm starting to believe that there's a possibility of maybe Kenny is less than what we've been pitched by everybody from around the world, because maybe he's been in matches with people who know what they're doing on such a level that they are bringing him up and elevating him every time. And maybe AEW is handing him people who just are not on that same level to be able to bring Kenny up, and maybe Kenny can't bring others up to a higher level. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you mean. Yeah. And I'm thinking
again,
with,
I'm not trying to downplay Kenny. He might be the best in the world. I don't know. That's the problem, is I don't know because of what
we
I've
haven't
seen.
seen it.
We haven't seen it.
Yeah, we haven't seen it. And I think also with Kenny and how he's booked with AEW and how AEW's really done a lot of their booking. It's like there isn't any, well, I don't think there's anybody in this right now in the company that could have a match that, you know, that can elevate Kenny to that next level, or also he can elevate them to that next level, because it's very predictable, his moveset. Same old. I mean, but you can say that about a lot of people though. But I think with Kenny, and the fault with Kenny right now is you just don't have that. And if you're going to be the one who's the star of TV, let's face it, like, he's okay on the mic. You know, he's not the greatest. There's better on the roster. But also, I don't see him as someone who, when I look at him, I don't see him as someone of, this is the guy. Like, this is a fucking superstar. I mean, this guy, whoo, I don't see that.
No, he does seem like the biggest guy in the local promotion.
Yeah, no one, I don't think that there's anyone to help him. Now, however, if you took that match, the Bucks and TH2, holy fuck. Okay.
Right.
That right there was just superstardom all over the place.
Okay. Tell me about what you thought about that.
That match was, oh God, that match was so phenomenal. I'm like, man, why did it open? Because everything else was a disappointer the rest of the night. Like, seriously, like, that's how I felt. Like, everything else was like, you know, dog shit compared to that. Because I just was really let down by everything else. But that match was great. And how those two teams and the interaction they had with what's Bowen's and his partner, what's their tag, the Acclaimed, is that their name?
Acclaimed, yep.
Acclaimed. They've made their stock rise up. I mean, and these are two different tag teams who are both phenomenal, and they made those kids look like $1 million. Even though the week before that promo was kind of wonky, but
was wonky.
You know, look what happened in the ring. I mean, it was phenomenal, and that's what you're doing. Is it's like when you're bringing someone up, it's like you're giving those people that opportunity to learn, and I think that's kind of where I kind of like having Will Hobbs with Team Taz.
Yeah.
And in his own way, Ricky kind of sort of in Team Taz, but I mean, he's got a lot of the skills there. Even Brian Cage needs a little help sometimes, but
I think
you're learning
Team Taz real fast.
Oh, he already has. He already has.
I think I annoyed him online. I had asked if that last promo, not this one, but the one before, where they were like kind of in a hotel lobby. I asked if it was like a green screen. I was like, because that's like the fanciest background ever. And he was just like, no, it's not, period. And I was like, ooh, I think I annoyed him. And I was like, well props to whoever found the location, because it looks good. You know, like.
Well, at least he didn't insult you like he did with other people who don't know how to read.
Yeah, that's true. He didn't call me names, so.
Or the poor girl who made a comment. I felt so bad I still feel bad for her. I'm like, oh boy. Some girl kind of hit on him. He had made some comment, like someone said, oh, I can't go to sleep. And then she had said, yeah, I know, I'm not going to go to sleep without you. And he said, I think you could do it on your own.
Yeah, and I think you'll be fine on your own.
I was like, this is the best thing ever. I'm like, bitchy Ricky is best Ricky. But going back to that match with the Bucks, I mean, that is taking people to that next level. Because they also even brought TH2. I mean, honestly, like, those guys are good, but they really showed us how good they really are again, and made them noticed. And I mean, I think tag teams ruled this episode of AEW. But yeah.
Amanda thinks that Young Bucks TH2 was the best match of the night and was elevating. I personally felt like just another Young Bucks match, and I think I need more stories with them, because I feel like they put on a lot of the same match over and over again. Every one of theirs seems like a pay-per-view main event, which I guess is a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of a scenario, because hey, you want to be putting on that big match every time, but at the same time, you got to leave people wanting more, in my mind. So for me, I feel like I've had enough. I've seen it all. I'm ready for the next thing, the next act, as it were, maybe. Clump, do you fall somewhere in the middle, or do you lean more towards one or the other?
I mean, my big thing, and I'm not gonna. I can like Young Bucks matches. Honestly, I don't know why. Well, I kind of know why. I can't stand TH2. Like, so anything they're in, I'm kind of like, if I watch
Jack Evans, isn't it?
No, it's their weird personas, how they act, coming out, the weird dancing. It just, I don't know why. I'm like, I don't like you both at all. You both
funny.
seem.
You'd think that I hate them because of the same thing, but for some reason I'm all right with them. I dig them all right. I'm like, okay, when they come walking out. But I hear you.
They look like the kind of people who they wouldn't. I mean, they're not gonna have a band called Old Soul, but they're gonna.
Yeah, they are.
They're gonna have something along those lines, champ. I'm just like, I don't buy. So but like, I do get what you're saying about Young Bucks matches, kind of overall. Like, I like the Young Bucks. I don't know if they're in the ring on. They've not done a lot in AEW that's made me just go like, yep, that's why. That's why they're here, and that's why I love them. They had done that in NJPW or in Ring of Honor. You know, they've done matches. I'm like, fuck, that's awesome. You know, they've done promos where I'm like, hell yeah, I love this. This is great. They've done great work with people like, you know, Kevin Steen, or, you know, them with Adam Cole. The way that they would just appear, you know, and bring a house down by being present. Hell yeah. But here, I don't know. I think even more than Kenny, they need to figure out what Kenny, I think we know what the character we want to go for is. The execution is not there. I don't even know what the fuck the Young Bucks are going for. And I think they need to disappear for a bit and kind of think about, like, what do we want to do? And just be consistent in a goal.
Isn't it funny when you think about it that it's called All Elite Wrestling because of the Elite who turned into the Elite for AEW because they were the Bullet Club before? Every single one of the people involved in there has us questioning what the fuck are they doing here and why? And everyone else you can at least see a direction for. Isn't that weird?
Mm-hmm. A little bit.
I wonder kind of why that is, because I don't know if I could boil it down to be like, oh, well, and talent can control them. I don't know if there's nothing to me that seems obvious on why that should be, or why you'd say, well, naturally, because it's going to take this much time to do this or that. They're coming in literally with a branded company, branded by them, calling them by their own names. Like, they might as well have been called, you know, Young Buck and Kenny and Paige Wrestling. You know what I mean? Like, they should have the most definitive storyline. Matter of fact, we should be able to know exactly where they're going and saying, yeah, all these other characters are coming and going, but these guys are on a fast track to here. That would make more sense to me. But for them to be like the most lost souls in the whole thing, a little weird.
That's, I think, where BTE is now. It's not necessarily really about the Bucks, and it's not necessarily about when they started in the early days, when they first started with Kenny, and they were, you know, basically vlogging about, you know, road life, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'm a sucker to hear, you know, freaking Papa Buck's music, you know, the whole Warriors cry and like whatever. And I feel like, damn, I don't get that anymore in BTE. What's this new shit? I hate it. It makes me hate Dark Order. Can't stand John Silver. And I'm just like, what the fuck, right? And it's like, Chuck and Trent, honestly, and Orange Cassidy, they don't need BTE to do their own thing, because damn, like, anyone who's ever seen them do their, Chuck and Trent do their, you know, Talking Hogs thing on High Spots Network, I mean, damn, that's money right there, and money well spent. I mean, that's how I love those guys, because of that weirdness from before. They don't need BTE. I don't need to see Luchasaurus and, you know, and Marco Stunt and Jungle Boy, you know, whatever they do on BTE and all that.
Yeah.
No, it's like, why can't you go back to, you know, like go back to what it was? Because then back in the day, it wasn't about all these other people. But I get it. They have a company now. They're VPs. They got to be about everybody. But like honestly,
Well,
like
and
I
the
don't
problem
care.
is they've made that their other show, and this is their only show that's on national TV. Guys,
Yeah.
I do want to get to Sting. I want to make sure we talk about Sting.
Oh yeah, because you have such investment in that. Your book.
Oh, I've been booking Sting for quite some time now, and Papa Sting is here for the custody of Darby All In, so far as I can tell. Clump, you had to run last week after saying what you thought about Sting arriving. Now that you've seen Sting arrive, stare down everybody in silence, and now come out like it's the opening of a podcast or a StarCast interview saying, hey guys, happy to be back. Love to see you, Tony. Tony, how about a hug? Give me a hug, Tony. How many years has it been? So good to see you. Great shoes, man. I love your sweater. How's the fam? Tell me what's going on. You want to grab a sandwich after this? Hey, can you say Sting again? I haven't heard that in a long time. Just feel nostalgic. Sting and TNT. More important than Sting and AEW. That's the gist I got. Clump, what do you think? Am I way off? Am I being a dick?
Not really.
You're like, believe me, I'd love to call you a dick right now.
Yeah,
nothing would make me
believe
happier.
me. No, when I see it and trying to not be cynical, there's this thought to me.
Yeah.
Sting is an important part of Cody's life. You know? Sting's long been an important part of Cody's life. These guys that are coming in, yeah, it's family. And I appreciate that. And that's not lost on me. And I admire that, like I admire the stories of Vince taking care of people like Freddie Blassie, like Gorilla Monsoon, Pat. So that's not lost on me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think having him come out like this in gear for this moment, it's cool, but it does feel to me like the richest boy's happy fantasy at his birthday party, you know?
It 100% felt like he was putting over Tony to a degree too, yeah.
Yes. It felt like back.
Say whatever you want, man. Say whatever you want. I'm just so happy you're here.
Mm-hmm. It felt like, or for, I get it, but I want to see more of it. I'm not going to totally knock it right now. I want to see more of what's happening because, yeah, there's things I like seeing Arn. I like seeing Sting now. I like seeing Tully when they're present. I'm cool with that. Make it mean something to me.
100%.
Yeah.
There's a lot of respect for those people. Utilize it correctly.
Yes. Sting could mean something. Sting could be awesome. Sting could mean a lot. I need to see that. This felt a bit odd. I wanted it to become something dark suddenly.
Yeah. I'll tell you, I was surprised by the placement. It was like 25 minutes in. It wasn't on the hour. It wasn't on the top. It wasn't at the end. It was kind of in that popcorn spot, that kind of beginning of the mid-card area. The getting restless, I'm going to stretch my legs kind of spot. And I was like, really? For Sting? You want to? I would think. And I've never produced a television show. I'm not going to pretend that I'm smart because I'm not.
You're mid poop. You get told, "Hey, Sting's out." You run out with your pants around your ankles.
Damn.
Yeah, you're like, oh.
I didn't wipe. That's why they were around my ankles. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go back and wipe now.
Yeah, 100%. But I mean, at the same time, we've always heard about the top of the hour stuff. That you wanted something. We've heard it on a bunch of podcasts. That's the only reason I say it. Not because I know. Not because I'm smart. Not because I'm an insider. I'm a hack making up shit like everybody else. But we have heard on a number of podcasts from people who are on the business side of things that the top of the hours were very important because some people are changing channels and you want a face they'll recognize. And what face are anybody from the 90s going to recognize more than Sting? He's painted the same.
Michael Jordan.
I was shocked he wasn't at the top of the hour Because I was thinking, I was like, oh, he's definitely going to be like right there dead center, because when people are flipping channels and they see Sting in the ring, they're going to go, what's this? Even if I wasn't watching wrestling at all, at this point, growing up the way I did, I'd go, fucking Sting? You put it 25 minutes in? That's weird. I'm sorry. Amanda, go.
I'm not shocked. No, I'm not shocked at all. Why? Is because I think they were really relying on Twitter and how much Twitter had exploded when the week before. And I think that that's what they were relying on. Plus, you also, God forbid, you can't, undermine that whole Kenny Omega thing, because that was so important about him going to Impact and did nothing, and he's doing it again tonight. He's going to say something, which he didn't. So, yeah, I get why that was there. That's why it wasn't on the top of the hour, because the most important thing was Kenny Omega and whatever they were supposed to do. And it was a big epic fail. But I think that that's why they did it where it was, because they knew that Twitter was going to get them that view either way. Yeah.
I'm with Clump. I'm really excited to see Sting here from a personal standpoint of liking Sting and wanting him to have a job and be happy in his life. Mm-hmm. But there's a huge part of me that goes, really, dude, you got to be like, hey, Tony, say the thing. Tony, I was thinking about it. I miss when you said my name. This feels a little campy. It was a little weird. Mm-hmm. I felt like what it did more than anything is I feel like that it really cracked the mysterious and ominous nature that is Sting. You have a dude who's been most successful. Arguably, his most successful year of his entire career was the year he never spoke and only stood in the rafters and never moved his face and stared at Hogan once a month for a year and a half before they put him back in the ring. And now you're like, just go out there and say a whole bunch of stuff for a while. Just fucking word vomit for a minute. See what happens. He's never been known, so far as I know, as a wordsmith in that way. So it was just, to me, it broke down a little bit. It wasn't all vomit.
It wasn't all word vomit. It wasn't all word vomit.
I mean, it was just fucking off the cuff. We're all word vomit on this show.
Well, yeah, but his was gratuitous, like word vomit. But it wasn't. But there was, unlike the Kenny segment, there was something that was said.
What was that?
Yeah, when he was talking about Darby, and you see Darby sitting there.
All he said is, that looks familiar, because he saw in the distance a faint, childlike stare with half his same face paint. He thought the kid was twice as large as he was, but the distance made him seem like maybe he was bigger. Same face paint, same monotone look that made him himself famous as he stared at his young boy, Darby Allin.
3 initials, TNT, TNT. And, obviously, I don't know if that's the adoption paper there, but once again, Marsh, you fucking booked this thing. Don't know how you're doing it. Yeah. And I honestly, I was like, shit. So that's why that's what he's here for.
Yeah. You
had to read between the lines of that one. That's what he's here for. He's coming for that title.
And the custody.
Because the custody papers, and that's the custody belt. And, he gets a son out of it. And, I mean, yeah, because just think about ratings, okay, yeah, you can't give that to Cage because it doesn't mean anything. Can't give it to anybody else. Why keep it on Darby Allin? Oh, let's put it on Sting. So that's going to happen.
A man called
Sting. Yeah.
Now, Sting does have already posted a win-loss record on AEW's website, which they did not do with any of the other. They did not put that up with any of the other legend managers. One never populated for them, but there's one for Sting. So we have a very clear indication that he is most likely coming back to the ring, which is, to me, at best, nerve-wracking, at worst, irresponsible. Yes. Because
yeah, especially if it's against Darby. I mean, honestly,
I hope they put him against Sammy Guevara in a 6-month feud. Clump?
No.
What do you think?
No, Sammy's not a safe worker. No.
But it doesn't matter.
No, do you want to kill the man? Okay, fine.
No, there's easier ways to get him in the Hall. He's already in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
Sammy Guevara is going for the Legend Killer gimmick, but this time it's for real.
No. No, if anyone should get a piece of that, it should be Joey Janela. But honestly, they should be saved for Spring Break 5. But Joey Janela should get a piece of that because that's
fucking Cody. It would be all.
Oh, but that's too predictable. No,
yeah, I know, but we're doing this because it's Cody's fucking company. Yeah, that's why it's
but he wet his
He's his fucking stepdad or some bullshit.
But he wet his pants when he was there. No, that's too predictable.
He was gonna wet his pants regardless. That was coincidental timing.
Oh, true.
Clump, what do you think about Papa Sting battling for the custody of baby Darby?
If he wins and makes Darby also become a surfer Darby, I'm okay with it because I want. Yeah, I liked Darby. Maybe had the most dramatic, like, "Oh, you're awesome too. Fuck off and never be on my TV" that I've ever had in a wrestler. Like, oh, I hate how one note you are. You're the kind of kid who's like, I'm gonna go work at Hot Topic because, then I can. You just think it's perfect. Yeah, I'm dark and gloomy, and then they don't fucking hire you because dark and gloomy doesn't sell shirts. You fuckhead. Yeah, it's just he's just shit, and yeah, no. But if Sting comes out to a man called Sting, and we have a boy called Darby, you know what? I won't ever watch
Mikey
WWE.
Ruckus. Hello.
Yeah. I won't ever watch WWE, and wrestling's hit peak. It will never be better than that. Like,
we did it.
A boy called Darby. A boy called Darby.
We did it.
Damn.
Yes. Oh, this is peak humanity.
You need to write some lyrics and send it away. Monetize this bullshit.
I'm still writing a wrestling fanfic of Braun Strowman and Walter called "Get These Hands," but it's not going well.
Well, you're working on that. Amanda is simultaneously working on a Papa Sting and
a Papa
Baby
Sting
Darby.
Baby Darby.
Yeah, but
one that warms the heart.
Now, Clump, I'm not one to toot my own horn because I toot plenty of other things, but was my booking of Sting's entry way better than what they actually did? Because I really feel that way. All this snow, this fake winter is coming stuff seems really weird. I don't hate it with all the fake snow, but I'm not super into it either. If it disappeared, I'd be fine with it. But this time him coming out and there was all that fake snow again, I was like, are we just supposed to believe Sting is like literally made of ice? But if you remember the way I booked it, we were going to have the camera on Darby and a hand reach over and tap Darby, put his hand on Darby's shoulder, zoom out, boom, there's Papa Sting with baby Darby. We get the same place, but to me, with more of a pop.
Yeah, no, that would have been better. Also, fake snow and Sting, dangerous mix. Guys got some injuries. We both know from working in a place where there's a lot of fake snow at certain times of the year in a hot environment, that soapy shit's slippery.
It gets slippery.
Yeah.
That looked like it was like a Snoopy snow cone machine. It was making the snow. I mean,
and this week it was
some cans are
stronger than it was on the pay-per-view or the fake pay-per-view.
Yeah.
I didn't even know they had snow on the pay-per-view, to be honest.
God damn it.
They did it. They hit it.
Did
I
they?
don't know. I am excited for Sting. I am feeling a little less excited by what they're doing with him. It's this weird thing where it's all like, I love the dude, and I think this is cool for him, but I'm not excited with what they're doing with it right now. I'm like, okay, I guess I'll wait. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Did you run out and buy your Sting merchandise as soon as they put it up?
No, because they made that AEW logo massive. Everyone else, it's a small spot, if anywhere at all. And for them, they're like, AEW, also Sting. And you're like, okay. But it's not a bad shirt overall. Just for me, it's a bit AEW in your face.
Yeah, the AEW was kind of big.
Man called Sting.
If they made the AEW, I wish they would have the AEW logo on everybody's shirt, kind of like a hidden Mickey. It's somewhere and you have to find it, and it's not obvious.
Oh, that'd be so fun, actually.
That'd be a really fun thing. Like, where's...
Yeah.
Yeah,
if
I would
every
love
shirt
to see that.
they said, hey, the AEW's on every shirt. And you go, no, it's not. It's on this one. It's
of course
there. Just keep looking. Then it would be fun. Like you said, a hidden Mickey. Oh, it'd be so fun.
Like a hidden Mickey. Yeah, that would be the best thing. Because even my new shirt that I got, this is a plug.
Yeah.
Reaching over for those listening on the podcast.
Yeah, listening on the podcast, we do have Amanda. If you follow us on twitch.tv/Wrestling on the Rocks, you can watch us live.
But see how small the logo is on the new Ricky Stark shirt?
Itty bitty.
Small. Itty bitty. Sting, it's like Sting. AEW.
Yeah. AEW might as well be a copyright logo. It's just there just so you know it's there. But with Sting, no.
But hidden Mickey.
It's like a fucking NASCAR shirt.
Yeah. Ryan Barkin, I know you're probably not listening to this, but I'll tweet, I'll send you a message.
Yeah.
Hidden Mickeys. Do it on the shirts because you know what? That makes that shit cool.
It'd make it really cool.
I'm just saying.
I'd actually
At least it wasn't a giant TNT fucking logo.
Nah.
Yeah. That would be, that's another one. They're like, oh, look, find the TNT logo.
After a long playlist of all the Lord of the Rings movies in a row.
Or what would be funny, in invisible ink that only showed up under a black light.
That'd be dope.
This shirt is a paid advertisement from Tony Khan.
Yeah.
That'd be hilarious. But,
you can see man stains and then that.
And then that. You're like, whoa. What's
that? And that.
Yeah.
Why am I going EO to both?
Clump, they're always all like, why are you always wearing AEW shirts here? And you're like, I am? Oh. Guys, I am excited for Sting. I want to see what he does. I just think he lost a lot of his ambiance and his ominous nature in this one segment because of the way they just sit out there and just go out there and tickle Tony Schiavone for a while. Just have a tickle fight is what it felt like.
Let Tony Schiavone have a moment, a little moment.
Tony Schiavone had a great moment when he said, hey, remember we were on TNA for a hot minute? You just had a cup of coffee? He goes, yes, I announced one shows and quit the business for 18 years. You're like, fuck,
yeah,
Tony.
But that also was a paid advertisement.
Yeah. Oh,
that was
I'm
a
sure
paid advertisement.
Sure was. Tony standing right behind him, just giving the old thumbs up. Mm-hmm.
Quit the business for 18 years. There was a rope in my closet just waiting to be used.
Yeah. Quit the business for 18 years, bought a nice taut rope, got a place with a tall ceiling and a low banister, if you know what I mean. Like, Tony, stop.
Rickety fucking chair.
Tony, Jesus.
My favorite Tony, just somebody shitting on Tony is still Bruce Pritchard just going off on him about how he dresses for 5 minutes.
So good. So good.
Can't get a tailored fucking suit, and he still can't.
Yeah, he dresses in pajamas every fucking show. It's phenomenal.
Yeah, he looks like his mom said, no, you have to dress up for church.
Yeah. Damn it. Let's see. I thought FTR was awesome. Was there anything else on the show you guys thought was standout? Because here's my thing: is last week they got him I believe the idea was that during the Sting segment last week they got a little over 1 million. This week they were shy of 1 million the whole time. I felt like they knew a lot of eyes were on them. They were really going to show up and show out. This was going to be the show to watch, and I felt like in that regard, it was a bit of a wafty stale fart in that it was an okay show. It was okay. But there was nothing in this show that made you go, I cannot miss next week. This show looked a lot like, all right, I'll check back in a month and see where they're at.
I'm curious to see how much money Miro's getting them to invest in his wardrobe, because so as far as I can tell, I am happy he had more of a heelish role, and did a thing. But it's
although I think he murdered that first guy, dude. He tried to flip him, and the guy did not flip. That guy landed on his fucking face.
Did somebody just give him
was the first guy the one that came back and got a second beating?
No.
At the end, and he stomped on stage.
That first guy.
Oh, okay. Okay, the last one, I know who that was. He debuted the night before on Dark. Shout out to Cody Chun, the Chunmeister.
I believe you, but that first guy.
You didn't step on his face. The last guy when he stepped on. I know,
but the first guy was getting a scoop slam.
Oh yeah, that was awful. I was like, oh god, you're dead. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, he never turned, and it turned it into a dart, and I was like, well, that guy just went nose first into a table at least. So.
Well, that guy's dead. You'll not see him again.
They just never panned back. Clump, we interrupted you.
Yeah.
What were you saying?
I was gonna say, like, I just want to see, like, I think Miro's got a fantastic deal that's got a writer in it for, he's like, just, we're gonna let you go with a credit card to the fancy mall in Jacksonville and buy anything that says Versace or Gucci on it, but it's got to be the shittiest.
There'd be some pissed off people.
That's what he's doing.
Right, no, who would be all? Why are you getting that credit card? Why can't I have that?
Yeah, no, and don't get me wrong. Part of me is like, I honestly think most of it's fake because, like, okay, I'm not muscly like Miro, but Miro's a big individual. He's
I don't think they make Versace that big.
No, they don't. I'm not a muscly individual, but I'm a bigger person. They don't have. He would be a very much a plus size person in there, and they don't. I have, like, I feel like if me and Miro were looking at like a Gucci or a Versace and we're looking at clothing, we would be like, huh, where do y'all sell wallets? Cool, I will buy wallets. Like,
that reminds me. I don't remember if it was a friend or a family member. I just remember somebody I knew had a $50 Nordstrom gift card, and we went to Nordstrom together to find out what they could even get, and we started looking at fucking keychains and shit.
Get at Nordstrom.
Dude,
50.
You can get. Yes, you can. I bought shit at Nordstrom. No, seriously, I bought a pair of fucking UGG slippers for less than $50 at Nordstrom.
Yeah, who knows how many?
Don't know how to shop it right.
Yeah, that was probably recent. This was decades ago. I'm an old man. We've established this.
But even decades ago, you still could. They just nothing ever went on sale.
Okay,
you could get a travel size thing of.
Hey, you could have bought a lip liner from MAC, and it was like $9. See, that's under 50. So there. Stuck on that.
You say that I thought you were gonna go into like a size thing. So, one time I was up in a fancy area of Arizona. They had a Barney's. I walked into the Barney's, and I walked in. I was kind of looking around. I said, "Do you have like a big and tall section?" And the person, very awkwardly but very politely, was like, "We don't have your sizes here, sir." And I was like, "That's all good." And then he's like, "We have cologne and wallets," and I was like.
You could wear it a tie. You could have had it like a little pocket square.
After that, basically, whenever I go somewhere and I know they won't, like I went to Brooks Brothers and I said, "Do you have a fat people section?" Like that's my line, and I just want to see how they react because it's funny.
You know what?
They
I
look
like
you
to
up
say
and
to
down,
women,
and they go, "Yes."
You know what I like to say to women, and people get offended, and a lot of people get offended. But I'm like, I can say it. It's fine. If you're a real skinny little shit, you can't say this, but I say, do you have buffalo size? Or you don't have my size. What's your size, buffalo? Jesus. I think it's funny. Yeah. I think it's funny. Because it you get a reaction from it, and totally polarizing. I think it's funny because I can take the joke, but most people don't. And I'm just for sure. I'm just asking.
Were there any other highlights in the show? Because like I said, to me, this episode was a fart and a win.
Yes.
That in and of itself was a letdown because a lot of people are watching. And I even said when Sting debuted, producer looked at me and she goes, "I wonder what the viewership's going to look like this week." And I was like, "It's going to be high, but I want to know what it's going to look like in 2 or 3 weeks. Once the high of Sting has come down, how many people are they keeping? What are they going to do in between?" So apart from Sting, because Sting's got star power. And the most disappointing thing about seeing a legend like Sting is recognizing the star power that he has and saying, "Oh yeah, we don't have stars like that anymore. Not here, we don't." You know what I mean? So the first thing I said was I want to see what they do the week after that, the week after that, and then the week after that, because it's going to take everybody else on that show to hold on to people, because people are only going to watch for Sting for a minute. They're not going to keep tuning back in if it's not going anywhere and if the rest of the show doesn't lock them. So last week it was a little over 1 million.
So long before you need pants.
Yep. This week it was just shy of 1 million. We'll see what it is next week. But I felt this episode did a terrible job of making people feel like they have to watch next week.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I will say this: the AEW, this episode of AEW, if they continue like this is going to be like how I started watching it. Like I really don't care. I'm only here to see a couple of things, and then that's it. But I will say this is that the lack of on that damn internet wrestling on Dark, the lack of Ricky Starks that did and both shows did kind of That's boring.
He had part of a promo in this one, and to be honest,
Yeah, but
he makes those seconds count.
Yeah, he makes them count, but no. I mean, the other thing that we didn't talk about that I kind of was happy about is seeing FTR again.
Yeah,
because I think everyone assumed they were done.
Yes.
And that fucking Varsity Blondes, dude, they've got a nice little future.
They do.
But
they do.
I would really like Griff to
Griff has to cut his fucking hair. I think
he has to have a mullet.
Give him a
mullet.
I don't care what his haircut is. It can't be that haircut because my problem with Griff right now is everyone's calling him like Big Jungle Boy or normal sized Jungle Boy. Right. You can't do that to Jungle Boy.
What are the
Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman Jr.
Brian Pillman Jr. The mullet, man. The mullet works, man.
Give him the mullet.
Because he kind of has his hair up in a bun, and so it could work. But
it could.
Yeah, get him away from Jungle Boy. Don't have these people look alike.
He cannot be looking that much like Jungle Boy. I think that's completely. And what the fuck do I know? I'll Don Stugatz that shit right now. Don Stugatz quote. What the hell do I know? But I think that is incredibly disrespectful to go out there looking that much like Jungle Boy and not adjusting your look some. Jungle Boy is established to a degree. I mean, we've all heard the fucking crazy contract supposedly, and what the fuck do I know about contracts? I don't know anything about contracts. I don't understand contracts. They're too complicated. But supposedly there's rumors and dirt sheets that say Triple H had a contract that said people couldn't have the same hairstyle as him because he had to stand out. That might be true. It might not be true.
Fair.
I don't know, but I understand
you can't have
concept.
a neck tattoo like Cody. You can't have a neck tattoo.
Right? But I understand the concept, and I understand why it's even a rumor. Because no one else looks like that person. Because you don't want your stars looking like everybody else, man. Garrison's got to cut his hair, dude. Jungle Boy's already there, and it's literally in his fucking name. Who the fuck are you, man? Just cut it. Stop being Big Jungle Boy.
Blonde mullet.
Quit being Jungle Boy, but blown up slightly.
Yes. Yeah. Matter of fact, when we were watching it, I was like, fuck, I can't believe he hasn't cut his hair. As I was mumbling, that producer went, is that Jungle Boy? Is he huge all of a sudden? And I was like, no. And then she went, oh, wait.
Yeah. I mean, and to me, it's like, if I was Jungle Boy, I'd be like, why the fuck am I here? I am talented. Like, what am I doing here? Like, I am exceedingly talented. I could go places. This is some shit.
Yeah, what the fuck is this?
Which match was it? Was it this one or was it the TH2 match when Jungle Boy and them were kind of getting into it with the other tag team? Is it okay? Yeah, with FTR. Yeah. So that was kind of confusing too, if it was.
Exactly.
Because I was like, two Jungle Boys here. Like, get a mullet, Griff, for the fucking love of God.
Or cornrows. I'm always
No. That's weird to have that with white people with cornrows. No.
Yes, exactly.
Not that. No.
Malibu's Most Wanted.
Like Road Dog. We'll bring it back. White people with cornrows.
Just do some Malibu's Most Wanted stuff. Guys, am I the only person who thinks Abaddon's gimmick is way too gimmick? It's just goofy and shitty to me.
And then she vomits on the floor.
Yeah.
Like that thing, she'll crawl out to a certain point, vomit, blood on the floor.
Like what the fuck is it? Am I for 1 second supposed to believe you're an actual demon? For a company that everyone says does not insult your intelligence, literally says one of their people are 65 million years old, literally says another one's from an alien planet, and literally says this one is a demon from the underworld. And you want to say that it's not insulting my intelligence, but WWE is. When they say that Retribution is here to take down the company, I can buy that quicker than I can buy a 65 million year old space alien demon.
Action!
Our powers combined.
Wasn't Abdon the one who everyone was like, oh my God, I want it when they're like armchair booking AEW and Impact. Oh my God, her and Su Yung. Okay, no.
Oh yeah.
You ever seen The Undead Bride?
Mm-hmm. So here's the thing: is producer recently saw Su Yung and was all like, "I can get behind that," but she will not watch Abaddon.
Su Yung,
when Abaddon
that's
comes
my
in, she
fucking,
walks
that's
out.
my fucking bitch. That's my bitch. That's my Asian sister from another mister. She's, and what she does with her, with the, you know, the whole Susie character too, and having that dichotomy. I mean, oh Jesus Christ! But Su Yung, for people who do that undead kind of thing, her, Rosemary, Abaddon, I'm like, you're really insulting. This is like insulting to what these women do. Yeah. And even like to take it to like Havoc and, you know, being the death machine. I mean, you're insulting all these women. Like, dude, like if you're gonna be some like, wow, I don't know what you are. I'm like, just like, ah. And apparently you scare Sheeta. I'm like, fuck. I would, you know, I don't know. Like, it's funny because if I were Sheeta, I'd be more scared of like goddamn fucking Awesome Kong. Okay, it's brutal. But I gotcha. You know, I mean, yeah, it's weird. It's just, it is insulting. It's kind of like, okay, you want me to believe in all this shit, and then you have this weird woman's
weird to me.
Spitting
Clump, what were you trying to say?
What I was gonna say is I feel like Abaddon, like, I will throw this out. I appreciate the commitment to the character and that it's not portrayed in a silly way. However, I feel like what really bites them is they don't get time to explain it, and everything else is so tongue-in-cheek. It's hard to have something this serious. Like, I'm okay with the idea of this, of like somebody who's a demon or is portrayed or is being portrayed in this capacity, but you need more context to. You also need to, you know, add to it more. I don't know, and maybe part of that might be, part of it might be toning it down a bit. If it was less of this, like the blood, the throwing up blood, and more, you know, just somebody way off kilter, and, you know, it could work, but it feels kind of, it feels kind of Japanese wrestling in the 80s and 90s when small promotions would book Michael Myers or would book, you know, we're just doing this. We're just gonna go for the monster. I heard that too.
You picked it up, huh?
It picked it up, yes.
Well, that's good to know. Because producers.
But this keyboard I bought to be loud.
This fucking keyboard burns me again. I agree 100%. I feel that it also gets lost in a sea of dinosaurs, space aliens, mean girl characters. It's easy to get lost.
Oh, that was
as a
awful.
Demon.
Oh, can we talk about that? Can we talk about that?
Okay.
Mean girl?
Dani Jordan. She came out to Rockin' Around the Christmas Tree. She is, quote, the real mean girl. She comes out with a burn book. She does a page of all of her opponents as she goes into the match with them. And she showed up on NWA for one match. And I remember us tweeting out, Dani Jordan has so much talent and so much charisma. We can't wait until she drops this Tina Fey gimmick and we get to see the real her. And she did not like that one bit.
Nope.
She has leaned into it so much. She's fantastic. Yeah. But she hides behind this Tina Fey gimmick, and it's not easy to get behind. Amanda, go ahead and say what you wanted to say about it.
Oh my God. Talk about being insulted. This has more insulting things here. It's like, oh my God. Okay. It's cool that you want to stand out. Okay. But the thing is, she's such a good wrestler. Though. You don't need to be the second coming of Regina George. Okay. Hell, it's not Fetch, and you're not gonna make it happen. I mean, at this point, like, I'm waiting for that one.
Stop trying.
Are you gonna get toaster strudel and throw it out at the crowd? You know?
Yeah.
Because, you know, your father invented toaster strudel. I mean, come on. There's more things you can do with it that are really obscure. Yeah. But no, I mean, it was stupid. When she came out, when I saw, I was like, oh God, no. No. For the love of God, no. I was just like, damn. That was, I was just like, God, we've got this whatever blood vomiting person on the ground crawling, and then we have this.
Yeah. When you're coming up with an actual burn book and you're called the real mean girl, it just makes me think of and
then you're doing the little dance. Yeah, like you're doing this little dance. Yeah, she did the whole dance. The little dance, where they had the little thing and they had the little booty hop and the little slap in the butt and all that. Yeah, she did the dance.
She did the whole thing.
No, I want to watch Mean Girls.
I get it, and I think from an indie standpoint, it's so funny. And if she was local, I'd be like, that's cute. I can't wait for her to figure out who she really is and break out.
Mm-hmm.
But if she's breaking out with this, all I can think is, what kind of copyright issues are you going to come through down the line? Yeah. The second they try to make a figure of you, how are they going to make it come with a burn book and not have to spend fucking millions just to make a t-shirt?
No. And if I'm not mistaken, don't they play Mean Girls quite a bit on TNT?
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe. Or one of those channels. But I mean... I'm
concerned for that. And the thing is like we said,
but you let that happen, and some people can't use like Stroke Daddy. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. But it's
not allowed to
almost
say
like,
anything about Ziggy Dice because I got in trouble.
That's a good point.
I don't. Well, don't start me on that. Yeah. But I will.
You got in trouble for that. But I will say, I don't want to
Wait, what did you say about
the idea.
Don't worry about
I want to make it very
I want to
clear.
know. I want to know. You have to tell me.
I want to make it very clear that we think that Dani Jordan is incredibly talented. We think she's very good.
We were talking about how great she was.
Yes, we think she has a huge future in front of her. Our concern is the gimmick is so far away from who she probably really is in real life that it's going to be hard to connect with her if you're not just looking for a quick laugh. And I think she's bigger than that and better than that. I don't think she's a pot shot laugh. I think she's a incredibly talented future women's wrestling type of wrestler. And I just want to see her break out as her. I want people to know who Dani Jordan is. I don't want people talking about who that Tina Fey mean girl wrestler is. Does that make sense?
Yeah. But if you want to do something subtly, like there's ways you can do, if you like these mean girl kind of things that you can do subtly. Like there's a couple of films, like Jawbreaker is one that comes to mind. You come out like the old Jawbreaker. My personal favorite is Heather's, the one that started it all. Have a clique of you and two other people, and you wear red, yellow, and green.
Yeah.
And, I know what that is. I don't need a burn book. I know exactly what that is. You had a clipboard. Oh, I know. That's a lunchtime poll. You don't have to, don't have to insult me with, whatever.
Clump, what do you? You sound like you're on the edge of saying something.
I was gonna say it just there are better ways to do these characters, and I'm looking at pictures of like Dani Jordan. I'm like, fuck, they got guns. Why are they in this? Like, Eva Marie, I could see do this. Some frail, broken person. Like, but I'm like, shit, they're built like a tank. Why are they?
Yeah, she's built. She's good. She can go. She's got it all. But the only thing she's missing is her. That's what gets us. Is that you're watching it and you're going, oh yeah, Tina Fey. No, I don't want that. I want to watch it and be like Dani Jordan. I want people to know that name. That's what I want. I don't want it to sound like we're trying to trash on somebody because we're definitely not. I think we all love Dani Jordan. I think that's what bothers us.
Yeah, like she's such a great wrestler. It's like, this is, dude, you just set yourself back like way.
It feels that way. I'm afraid you can't market someone like that. I'm afraid you can't make figures. And I don't know. I don't understand contracts. If I'm way off, awesome, more power to you. And if she blows up and makes millions and can retire all off the mean girl gimmick, then I will have nothing but crow to eat. And if there's anything we've learned tonight, there's nothing
Tina Fey
I
can
want
retire
more
off the lawsuit settlement.
Yes. Retire off the lawsuits. There's nothing I want to eat more for dinner than crow every fucking night. Because anytime I say I wish something was better, it's because I actually feel that way. And when it's better than that, I love it. I fucking love to be wrong about stuff I don't like.
It was cute the first time.
Yes.
Now it's like, oh no. It's cute on the indies, but when you're playing with the big boys, it's kind of like I'm glad that Anna Jay got rid of the magician.
Yes.
Shit,
oh my God. Yes.
Because I'm like, what the fuck? Yeah. Like, what is that? Like, I mean, I'm not. There's some gimmicks that work, but that was like, what are you doing that for? Obviously, Britt Baker's a dentist, so you know what? That's built in. But she's not ripping off something or doing something weird. Like you're like, I don't get it.
Ripping off teeth.
Yep.
Pulling out those teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, yeah, but
Yep. So guys, Was there anything that you thought we missed about an AEW clump that you thought should definitely be hit? What is your feeling of the show overall versus what expectations were?
I kind of agree with both of you. I feel like I want to see where this goes in 2 or 3 weeks, and I'm not thinking it's going to be fantastic, but we'll see.
You know what's crazy too is I went in this with really high hopes and low expectations because I was like, look, they don't always nail it every time first time, but they know a lot of people are watching.
Sting.
Yeah, but they got Sting. They know a ton of people are watching. They're gonna show out. People are gonna know. They're gonna show up. And I was like, I'm gonna be pleasantly surprised, I believe. And when I watched the whole thing, I was all like, oh, this is the show.
You were surprised, but not pleasant.
Surprised in a way. Amanda, what did you think of it overall? Was there anything we missed?
The one thing we missed. How can we not miss the Inner Circle? I guess they're that forgettable. In MJF.
Did you think much of that segment at all?
God damn.
No, because all it was, oh my God, Sammy Guevara having a shit fit.
It was too much time with open mic. It was an open mic
yeah,
night
it was
out
way
there.
too much time. And then my other thing was, I kind of already knew that MJF was going to keep that ring. Okay. But why have a battle royal? Why have all this bullshit when you could have had probably some better matches or whatever?
Yep.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
The only thing I got out of that was Miro came out in plus size Versace, and I was very confused because that doesn't exist. And it was like, and then the other thing that I thought too was, is this like the style show? Because fucking Jake the Snake came out with like one of Ricky's shirts, it seemed like, and was wearing that. I'm like, whoa, what is this? But it was just weird. But yeah, we didn't need the Inner Circle thing. We didn't need all that open mic. Wardlow was very uncomfortable for me. Him and Hager, I'm like, that was very uncomfortable.
Yeah, that was. It felt real, but not in a good way.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was like, oh.
Oh, are you guys really pissed at each other? Because this seems how shitty you would act.
You know what's funny is the worst part about AEW is how much they prove WWE right. Every time they bring in someone and say, we're going to prove how they're a top star, they shit the fucking bed, man. And it's like, okay, work with these guys. Work with them. Because they have it, I'm sure. I'm sure they could be, but...
I think Hager's probably better off just going and doing his MMA shit, to be quite honest. I mean, if this is supplementing his income, then more power to you, buddy. But honestly, like, yeah, we didn't need that. You know, we didn't need.
I feel like the thing with
MJF, him and Sammy, that was stupid. We didn't need that.
Clump,
you know.
Go ahead. What were you saying?
I was gonna say, I feel like part of it to me is like, I still want to like Hager, but part of me feels like, honestly, why? I don't know if he's not an intimidating heel. What is the role? Maybe he needs to be a face, because maybe you could unshit the bed here and have him be a face, you know? But
I feel like every time I've seen Swagger since SmackDown's draft like 3 years ago, I've been excited to see him. And every time I feel like an idiot afterwards.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, there's so much hype behind him. And I feel like I'm part of it. And I'm like, I love him. He's so good. He's so underutilized. He's so talented. He's got it all. And then I watch the whole segment and I go, what the fuck was that? Every time.
I thought he had good matches with Cesaro.
Sure.
But then again, I've always liked Cesaro.
Oh, yeah, he's great.
But
Clump, what did you think of the Inner Circle thing all in all?
Terrible. Fucking god awful.
It was throwaway, right? It was throwaway open mic night. Give everyone a mic for a time.
That wasn't even throwaway. That was just like, we're burning time.
Yeah, they're giving those guys too
much
time.
I don't want to say throwaway because I feel like there was too much time put into it. We're dismissing it. It was.
We could have had a paid advertisement from Tony Khan.
Tony.
That he loaned money to Scott D'Amore to make an advertisement about why we should watch Impact.
That's a good point. That's a good
I
point.
was waiting for that. That would have been probably a better segment than the Inner Circle.
We could have had fucking Shaq on another thing.
Oh, we didn't talk about Shaq.
Oh my gosh, Shaq!
I feel bad saying it.
Okay, we're going to end on Shaq, but we're going to talk about Shaq. And then that'll be it. Okay, guys? Amanda, we'll start with you because Clump has to sit in what he's done. What did you think of the
Yes.
Shaq segment?
I,
And then we'll go to Club.
okay. One thing that I love about Shaq, okay, he really, to me, he doesn't do well without Charles Barkley, with those two bickering and bitching at each other.
Okay.
So thumbs down to Tony Khan for not having Barkley be, Team Brandy, okay? Because that would have been some great shit too. I mean, your ratings would go up from viewers that never would watch this bullshit just to see Barkley and fucking Shaq go at it. I'd put money on that. So I think that's what it was just weird. It's just weird.
Okay.
Like, I'm like, Shaq is really stoned or drunk or something, but it was weird.
It was weird.
But yeah,
Clump, what do
he's
you think?
nothing
What do you
without
think of Shaq?
I mean, it made me feel like. So we talk about like when you talk about WWE being proven right. I'm like, okay, none of y'all can do this. Why are you doing the same thing? Because it makes me think back to the era of WWE with guest hosts where I was like, I fucking hate this.
Well,
Like,
the only one that was good was the Muppets, but I got you.
Yeah, no, that was fantastic. That was one of my favorite wrestling moments. Period. Is Sheamus at Beaker. And
Yes.
I'll see you at the family reunion.
Yes. If
I
I
could be into
ever
that.
get a chance to meet Sheamus, I want him to sign a Beaker. That's what I want. But fucking Seth Green, terrible. Wild Boy's terrible. Just like why? Why are we doing this? So
Yeah.
seeing Shaq, I'm like, I get it, TNT, but this reminds me of this isn't even Rodzilla good. This is like, okay, we got to bring Karl Malone in too. Oh man, he can't talk. Well, we got to keep working with Karl Malone.
Yeah, I guess we better get Jay Leno.
He's the most charismatic person on the Utah Jazz.
Clump, what did you think of Brandy in this?
She's the second most charismatic person on the Utah Jazz. It felt so petulant and bitchy and annoying. I was like, man, cough. Why are we doing this? Why did we invest? Why are people being paid for this? You have a budget and money. There's other things you could do. Somebody set up things for this. Fucking craft services was available for this. Why this? You have Shaq. I would be cool if Shaq just walked out and said, hey guys, I like what y'all are doing. By the way, hi Sting, I'm Shaq. Nice to meet you. That would have been fine. Awkward and weird. But no, we did this. We had a second production unit. We had chairs. We spent money on this separate steamy piece of shit.
Yo, and how, like, they didn't have to put Tony Schiavone that far behind Shaq. They made sure Schiavone looked like a fucking little baby. Just the tiniest human being anywhere near Shaq. And I was like, guys, you didn't have to do that. That was a choice that was made.
You can look at his shoe. Have Shaq take his shoe off.
Yeah.
And sit it next to Schiavone. We know.
You
Wear
should
the same
hand it over.
size suit.
Hand it over.
They do
Yeah.
wear the same size suit, but that's more just because Tony likes to be comfortable.
At the very beginning, Schiavone just says, hey, give me your shoe. And Shaq just goes, okay. Hands him a shoe. He puts
He's not
Schiavone
Forrest Gump.
puts Shaq. Yes, he is. Schiavone puts Shaq's shoe in his lap and just does the whole interview with that enormous shoe in his lap. I don't know, man. It was funny. It was goofy. As soon as I watched it, I went, oh, that's the GIF they're looking for at the end. But I did
You
not
should've-
think Brandy looked good. I didn't think she sounded good. I didn't think this came off as a
never
good
does.
thing. I was like, oh, God, this is what you just put towards your second largest viewership of all time.
They could have, had him come out and give Schiavone a magic lamp and he rubbed it, and then what is it, Kazam or whatever his little.
Yeah.
That would have been better. I mean, money well spent.
He could have come out and tussled Cody's hair.
Yeah.
He could have just said, well, we're bringing out highlights of TNT. "Oh, I'm Shaq," and I would be like, "Oh, cool, yeah." But
Yeah,
no.
or I was waiting like the whole it's Sting thing. All of a sudden, next thing you know, it's Shaq or whatever he would do. I don't know. It's like Shivani, man, you're getting a lot of airtime.
Yeah.
A man
No.
called Shaq.
Guys, we're
Yeah.
going to go ahead and wrap this up.
Called Shaq.
We don't usually like to end the show on a sad note, but this just came in while we were on the show, so I'm going to say it now. Zeus from WWE, he was famously in Fridays. Tommy Tiny Lister has passed away.
Oh no, man.
Yeah, so it's a bit of a bummer, and like I said, we don't like to end the show on a sad note very often, but it happened here live while we were on, and I don't want to neglect it and pretend it didn't happen and not talk about it. And I mean, why have a regular Christmas if you can have a no-holds-barred Christmas? And I would say this year more than ever, maybe watch No Holds Barred this Christmas to celebrate the life of Zeus and the incredible character he brought to the screen. What a nutty character, and how fucking cool was it every time?
Yeah.
Nothing more really to say. Maybe we'll talk about it when we have a chance to really formulate our thoughts. Other than we'll see you down the road, and tears in our beers, and cheers to Tiny Lister, Zeus from No Holds Barred, and I forget which Wrestlemania it was, but he was definitely in one. Tears in our beers.
In the teens, maybe. Yeah, probably the teens.
I think it was
early
before
teens.
10. I think it was before 10. I'm
Really?
going to be honest. Yeah. Guys, I think that's last call. Anything from either of you stopping last call?
Nah.
Amanda, go ahead and give last call. I'm going to give a cheers.
Okay. Well, you guys, such a bummer of a moment. God, I gotta do the bummer. So, if you want, I'm over at Ms. Amanda Jane at Twitter and Instagram. Yeah. So
We are wrestling on the rocks.
Yep. Here's a drink for you. Have a drink.
Cheers.
With your friends.
That's
Cheers.
last call.